You're listening to Santos Bonacci, live on Syncretism, here on criticalmassradio.co.uk. As above and so below is the holy science you need to know, astrotheology, because now it's our turn. You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now it's our turn.
Good evening and welcome to Syncretism on Friday nights here on Critical Mass Radio with yours truly and, of course, Captain of the ship, Santo Bonacci. Santo, how are you doing?
Wonderfully. Yourself?
Good, yeah. I guess if there's anything, if I'm going to complain or bitch about anything, is here. I'm going to ask one question, and there's only one answer. Okay, I just want to see the way I wrote it. Let me see, because I think this one pretty much sums it up. Well, I wrote it in a nutshell. All things legal, statute, act, legislation, name, etc. are dead. Play there, and you are blank. Only one correct answer. Fill in the blank. Anyway, we know what the answer is. Oh, do you know what the headline of Belfast was today?
Oh, yeah, let's have it.
Crown Bar shuts down.
Yeah, man. Hey, I knew that was coming when the dickheads, the orange people, in Ireland, they've got the orange people. I went to the museum in Derry, otherwise known as Londonderry, the mofos who renamed it, the orange people. But they've got a museum there, and there's a story about Lundy, the traitor, this Englishman who fed the starving Irish people, and he got caught, and they killed him, and they've been making an example of this Lundy, the traitor, who fed starving Irish people, and he was English. And they made an example of him. They hanged him and whatever else they did. And they've got this museum now, and there's this effigy of Lundy that they burn it or whatever, and stick things in it. And they hate this Lundy, because here they are, the maggot pedophile Windsor family and the Rothschilds family and whoever else it is that's been harassing the Irish people for thousands of years. That's the sort of thing they do. This is how sick they are, man. They are sick. And I knew that this was going to happen, that this headline was not far, when the idiots, the orange people, sent the police to come and stop my presentation. 5 hours into the presentation, mind you, I was already tired and finished. And they send their little police. And I've been meditating on that event ever since, and I realised, yeah, man, these guys, they've only got months to go, the pedophile crown. And I'm going to do it here in Australia because they're coming at me, and oh, man, I'm going to finish them. My God, I'm going to murder this society with the will of my intent, guys. You'll see the wrath of truth come down in this country, man. They're coming after me. They're coming after me? Oh, my God. That means it's the end.
That's the open door, yeah. That's to go in. And did I mention that I'm about 15 minutes from Lundy's Lane, Niagara Falls? Yeah, you can't make this up. Niagara Falls, Lundy's Lane, London. Yeah, okay.
So these maggots have shut up shop. These are the maggots who have been saying that.
Well, it's an allegory, right? The Crown Bar is a pub in Ireland. I'm going to show you why. But again, this is when I see it allegorically, and I transform it into literal, right? See, this is what I mean. As soon as you see the allegory, don't get caught up. The literal says the Crown Bar pub shuts down, right? Is shut down. Okay, great. So what does that mean to me allegorically in the game I'm playing? And it means, well, the Crown Bar is shut down. That's the Crown Bar in London. You see, I'll take the phonics of Phoenician definition versus the literal accepted as just literal. And then once I see that, then I put it back into the literal. Right, so it's you see the literal, see the for what it is, then you change it to your allegorical as it applies to you. Then you put your intent into the allegory that you pick out of it and throw it back. That's how you play ping pong with the Phoenician law.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, right. So, I was just with the Italians for a couple of hours, and they all send their greetings too, by the way, Mahat and Marco.
Alessandro and Francesco.
No, No, not Alessandro. Just Mahat and Marco from Thailand, who are going to bring down the cartel in Italy while we speak. But nice. But they were saying how Ireland now. So this is why I thought when you said the crown, I thought you were talking about the crown.
Well, I was allegorically. I was. This is what I'm talking about because I changed what others would assume to be a literal bar. In terms of a pub, I changed it to the allegorical. I know what it really is because in my game, that's what it means to me. So that's where my intent lies. That's the power of Phoenician law and how to turn it around. This is a perfect. I'm glad we're talking about this way because this is a perfect way to finally put into words what I've been trying to say for months. It is see the literal. See what it means to you allegorically in your game. What game are you playing? Well, my game is to take down the crown. Yes? Take it all down. Same with you. So that's what it means to me when I see that allegorically. Now, or that's actually, I transform their literal to my allegorical story. That's my story, mystery, my story. And then I put it right back out there and going, cool, the crown bar is shut down. Oh, and I'll tell you what, apparently the bar hasn't, they were operating without a license since 2011. Coincidence? I was in Ireland in 2011 taking my dad's ashes back. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, of course, yeah. It's manifesting on both planes, absolutely. Yeah. But Marco in Bangkok, he's got so much information about what's going down, and he's talking about Ireland and Argentina basically joining Iceland. They've told the international banksters to go and get fucked because they are a private entity. Hence, they should, they should pay the damages, whatever, because. They've been lending fiat currency, so Argentina turns around and says, pay yourself. They've told Wall Street to go and screw themselves. So Ireland is in amongst these. It would have to be, wouldn't it? The Irish people would have to be amongst the first, wouldn't they?
I'll tell you why. Because remember I've talked about Ireland as the heart of Gaia, the four chambers of the heart? And as soon as the boot is lifted off Northern Ireland, Ulster, the game's over. So we had the Pope lift the boot off on September 1st, and of course we know what's going on in Ireland, pushing the Vatican out. And today, of all days, bam! There goes the crown boot just got lifted off. So watch for a united Ireland. And I was talking with a friend of ours today, and I will be talking to him tomorrow again. And he was talking about this gentleman's from the south of Ireland. Now, for those that don't know the quote politics unquote of Ireland, many people do. Everyone assumed it was Protestants and Catholics fighting each other, and that was the game that was being played in Northern Ireland, or Ulster, more accurately. And what was going on there was the Irish are being played against each other. All right, and England was pretty quick to say we don't deal with terrorists, right? And then of course the IRA finally got smart and went to London and started blowing their city up. And we'll talk now, right? As long as we were blowing each other up, it was fine. We don't deal with terrorists, of course you don't. But as soon as you start blowing up their hardware and their areas, then they get all out of joint. So what happened with this call today? The political factions during that time were, on one side you had the IRA and a few other splinter groups, but the IRA were the main ones on the quote Catholic side, and on the quote Protestant side unquote were the UVF and the UDA, right? Ulster Volunteer Force, Ulster Defense Association, right? IRA, Irish Republican Army. And chatting today, and all these factions are coming together, where we have the opposing poles working together. That's huge. That to me, I saw the banding of the Irish coming back together. Finally, well, wait a minute. It doesn't matter if I'm Protestant or Catholic. We're all getting screwed, and that's exactly the attitude. So now these once divided sides are coming together on all levels.
Oh, look, once Ireland's free, I'm going to go there for a holiday, spend some time with James. We're going to go to that museum, and I want to piss on the walls of that museum, because I forgot to when I went in there. It was so funny. We went for a tour in there, and and it's all about Lundy the trader and how the English, crown conquering this land of inferiors, etc., and how, setting an example of how to treat them. Pretty much like Rome did in the days in 60 AD when the Asceti tribes, the English tribes banded together. They mustered up an army of about 120,000, and they absolutely plundered and destroyed Rome. London burned to the ground by Boudicca's forces. But the Romans, prior to that, a few years prior to that, what they did was, when her husband died, they grabbed her and they beat her and they raped her daughters. That's what the Romans do, simply because they had a treaty with Boudicca's husband, and he died, and so they didn't honour the treaty anymore. So what they did is they went in and they took all of the titles of the lands of all the original peoples of England, and they just took them over, raped everybody, plundered everything, and that's the way Rome does business. So it's the same thing with when the Crown took over Ireland. You think they're going to bring benefits? Oh yeah, well actually they do. They bring benefits. Quote-unquote benefits. But this is the thing. Once the Irish people join together, which they have, that's all they need to do. We have to join together our higher selves with our lower selves. We don't necessarily have to join together shoulder to shoulder with each individual in the country. We have to join ourselves, our lower selves, to our higher selves. Once we're all woken up, when the agents of Babylon come knocking on your door, you just have a laugh, and everybody laughs. You imagine when the sheriffs and the police come around to, seize homes and assets and that, and every single body in the land has awoken and just says, just laughs at them. And that's how quick it's going to fall, when we all wake up and we just laugh at it.
Yeah, well, that's it. We're laughing at it now, and that's the joke. And these are all the children, the lambs that are being brought into our timeline. Speaking of which, I just wanted to share. People talk about numbers that they see all the time, and I've said before about looking for something that's not there, and you look again in the same spot and it is there. These are all the clues of a lateral time shift, that you're in a new timeline. This is our way of showing it to ourselves that something changed, right? So when you see like numbers that you resonate with, and they can show up everywhere and anywhere, those are confirmations that you've actually time shifted sideways. That's and you can. I'll tell you, those that are asleep aren't noticing it, so you can only move in one direction towards consciousness. That's the good thing. So there's no turning back on that. That's your Jacob's ladder you're climbing. So these are confirmation of rungs that you've achieved. So be mindful of that and put a big smile on your face every time you see one of your very pertinent, only to you things that you see in your game, because those are all confirmations of you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. The turnaround of this manifest time is reducing every minute, every second, and behind the scenes, the things that are happening which we are not privy to, astounding, really, really astounding what is going on. This Cardinal Grand Cross is really, really going to be the last of the nasty configurations to really, really just give it the last blow it needs, wake everybody up, bring everybody into the same, critical mass benefits, and the moment they see the game that they were playing and laugh it away, that's how easy this house of cards Rome is. It's just a kingdom of ideas. It's an old kingdom of ideas. Rome had a great business plan by the edge of the sword. That was it. And there was a great business plan. They had more swords than anybody else, so they took everybody else's property and put it under their holy see, the Roman Curia. And what a great business plan. Why don't we copy that? Why don't we have swords of truth, our tongues, to expose and eliminate their stupidity? Why don't we have helmets of wisdom protecting our heads, breastplates of righteousness, as the Bible in Ephesians talks about, to fight this war against the spiritual enemies. It's a spiritual causal war that we're fighting, and we've got to go back to our causes by remembering who we are and undo all those contracts that we had with intention before we put pen to paper and signed. So we need to correct this, Well, not we need to. We are correcting this. This has been corrected. And, you'll be surprised some of the stuff that Marco shared with us from Bangkok regarding Putin. Putin is, he really, really is backing Pope Francis and Putin. He really sees that all the things that Pope Francis is doing is absolutely devastating the system, and Putin is really, really throwing a spanner in the works with the Chinese and the Russians and the Indians and Argentina. But predominantly, he reckons Putin has had enough. He single-handedly got rid of Rothschild control of that country.
Yeah, they're getting put in their place.
Oh yeah, and you know what a puta is in Spanish, don't you?
Yeah, puta, putana.
Yeah, a putana. That's right. A whore is a good little whore boy because he doesn't like to play with whore.
I love it.
Yeah.
What a movie. What we're doing now is we had previously we had this intense melodrama, adventure sci-fi with the occasional comic relief. Now what we're doing is writing the comedy with a little bit of maybe a little drama relief for a change, but it's we've really turned the tables. We got to take this drama, and we already are. It's getting more and more profound every day to take this game to the next level of comedy of the universe. It's freaking awesome.
and what is the next level? I mean, let's take a look at you and I, Kate, 2.5 years ago when we met. Mm-hmm. I mean, we knew we were onto the best stuff, and we were flying high back then. But, 2.5 years of maturity.
Come a long way.
Seasoning. I mean, what will tomorrow bring? What will it bring for you and I and all the listeners, and then by extension all the other good people, and then by extension all the other sleepy people, and then by extension all the dead set, intentful people who are dead set in their ways to practice only materialistic commercial evil. Who knows what all of this, all of these different strata of beings are going to undergo in the next few days with this Cardinal Grand Cross. Yeah. This Cardinal Grand Cross will test everyone's mettle, and your mettle will be tested. And if you got the goods, you'll come through unscathed. So enjoy the energy in it, because it is so transforming. Now is the time to contemplate and meditate all the important things of life, right now, because you've got the energy that will make it manifest. Make some wishes, make some, I wouldn't say affirmations, just be and intend, and, let the doers do, because they're just wasting energy. And, we can create with our lips the abracadabra universe that we want to manifest in no time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Do everything you do in honor. Do everything you do in dignity, and as the Hopi Indians say, because we are the ones that we've been waiting for. And there's no wait. It's present.
Yeah, I can't argue that. I mean, it's all pre-sent, right? Pre-say, before creation, mine with love, right? Pre-say NT, right? So that's why I was urging people, and continue to do so, to get into the present state of mind, because if you're not in the present, you're already in the past. You see, I talked a long time ago about what this reality is, and I've proven everything as far as the ego is concerned with regards to everything physical or all things past. They're already created, right? And it takes light time to travel from anything to your eye, which is further proof that everything that you see, you're only seeing it as it was. Even if it is a split second, like a nanosecond before, like light from your nose to your eye, doesn't matter. You'll never see anything in the physical as it is, only as it was. So if you're constantly reacting to the physical, you're constantly in the trap of time. You're doing it backwards. You're trapped in time. So the only way all you have to do is realize that. Once you go, okay, I get it. So everything is effect in the physical. So if you want to get into a cause to become your own crow, your own crone, that's crow with an N, and where we can all have our own cause, caw. Yeah, it's a cosmic joke. What you need to do is just get deep, get dark, get quiet. Be in the moment of now, because now is where you will create all things present. And everything is already created. This is the joy of this game. Once you realize this, that everything you can imagine in any reality, in infinite timelines, infinite directions, infinite characters, infinite everything, fractal. Remember, it's all fractal. Already exists. It's all here in the now. We just have to choose which point of now we want to experience. So that's what I mean about moving sideways, getting all sideways with this. And look what sideways means. Ways means name or names. Side means to kill. So we got to kill the name, because if you're still attached to a name, legal or lawful, now this is going to be a tough one for people, but if you're still attached to a name as being just you, then you're still separating yourself from the rest of consciousness. It's like when people say I came here in Ireland, so I would be deemed Irish for that, but I deem myself an Earthling, and I only see Ireland as a clue for one of my pieces, right, in my roadmap. And everyone has their absolute perfect roadmap from wherever they're from. You came in to your point where you came into for a very specific reason with your roadmap, and that's what Santos specializes in and does such a brilliant job of. Right? So once you remove all of the borders, all of the illusions of separation from everyone and everything, now you can step into a present state of mind and just intend. You see, I know there's a timeline that exists with me at home, with everything around me that I cherish and love, as it was, and that's what my intent is on. That's my heart's desire. That's what I am targeting with my intent. And my contract's very simple. I accept all things. And I do mean that. I accept all things, regardless of what an ego might assume or presume anything to be emotionally, whatever the case may be. I accept all things in order for that to manifest. So that is my contract, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, I have planned for myself in this game to get me to that lateral timeline slide, I'm all in, baby. I mean, hell, this game can't really do much more in terms of trying to destroy me physically, you know? So, yeah, I'm good. You see, that's the problem when you have people, when they get to a point. This is why evil destroys itself. Because when you get a point of consciousness to the point where there is absolutely nothing to lose, now you're dangerous. Now you can put some serious intent into stuff, because you are the samurai warrior that has decided that you're already dead before you go into battle, so that all you have is clear, perfect delivery, execution of intent at all points, because you've already deemed yourself dead. So you play the game at the highest level possible. And that's where people need to be. And you still, and this is one of the things, when I see people still clinging to legal shit, to me they're still clinging to something physical, something outside of them. They're still not seeing who they are. And I'm not gentle about it, because my timelines are very, very precious to me, and I use the concept of any points that are slowing this down in my consciousness. This is for me to snap those points of consciousness out of it. If a child is slaughtered, and they are during that point, that's where my passion comes from, right? I don't want that in my reality, and I assure you, I will take a crowbar to it, and I mean that, crone bar. You'll see my cause. You'll hear them, and you'll feel them. And that's not because I have any vengeance. It's because I need to obliterate that point of consciousness still creeping around with me. So, and of course, my other points of consciousness, or points of view, me, will, go, well, wait a minute. Well, no, sorry. this is my mind, this is my consciousness, my reality. I'll steer my ship, and I will take whatever. I will be Scylla and Charybdis. I will pick apart all the pieces from other points of my consciousness. We're all one. Or saving that, if that ship doesn't, that part of my mind doesn't look like it can be saved, I give it to Charybdis, and it just gets sucked down out into the void, right? So this is why, for me, anything that I would deem to be a quote bad memory is just obliterated. It's thrown into Charybdis. Those that I can still see points of my consciousness that I deem of value, I'll pick away with my Scylla, my Hydra. All the stuff. And, well, the ship's either going to survive getting past that, the mind, or it's not. And quite frankly, it's me, so I'm neutral on it. And it might sound like I'm being heartless, but I'm not at all. Because there are points of my consciousness that are just screaming to awake and being downtrodden. So I just cut through everything like a bulldozer. Coming through.
Well, what you're saying is resonates with the words of Walter Scott when he says, the man whom the rebirth brings into being is a son of God. He belongs to the world of mind. He is composed of divine powers. He who has been born again, has become an incorporeal being. He is no longer a thing visible to bodily eyes. He sees things no longer by bodily sense. He sees with the eye of mind, and thus seeing, he finds himself to be one with all that exists. He feels himself to be omnipresent and eternal. The new self, which has thus come into being, is imperishable. He who has once become a God and son of God can never cease to be that which he has become. And that is through rebirth. The rebirth that we all must have. That Jesus said to Nicodemus, you must lift up the Son of Man in order to ascend, to be born again. As Moses did in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up. If it's not lifted up, we don't have that rebirth. And that rebirth is the most important thing for sovereignty, because as Walter Scott said, you become God. You become of mind. You lose the bodily senses. You don't go by the bodily senses anymore, the left brain. All that arguing, what kind of fallacy is it or whatever, and all of that rubbish. Knowing is above this noise. It's like way, way above this noise that we have to... And it comes from this rebirth and being born again, or just basically awakening. That's all we need to do. We're here to awaken. Here's a gem from the Language Crystal, the book I got yesterday. This is what Lawrence William Lyons says. When you wish upon a star, not every wave that encodes your thought gets through. Some waves are bound to rebound off ionosphere. And thought waves, electronic waves, in parentheses, that escape will travel on forever, in parentheses, merging into other waves. So most important is the wish bouncing off the rim of the universe. And in this space age, the word is, at long last, coming home. So all those beautiful thoughts that you had that you wanted to manifest years ago of a peaceful world, blah, 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 and all those lovely things are coming home. They've done their turnaround, they go forever, and eventually what goes around comes around. And all of our good intentions have returned back to this place, Mother Earth. And so he also mentions, it's amazing, he talks about words. We put a lot of emphasis on words here, and whirling words that create worlds. Everything is whirling in spirals. The Holy Spirit spiral. Vortexes. Everything is produced by vortexes, period. There's anything out there that you can ever see, ever, in the present, that's not produced by vortexes. Electrical, polarized energy. And he says, face to face with the meanings of our words, we can redeem our environment. Now, I'll just read that again because this sentence is the start of the show. Face to face with the meanings of our words, we can redeem our environment. And when we deem the change worthwhile, we can pass through the steam of our spiritual differences. Values that divide us can be revalued. For when we wish, we can recycle our very own souls. This is amazing because all these words, redeem, revalue, and recycle, he separates after the word re. So he does this quite a lot. Re is ra.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. And so the point is, face to face with the meanings of our words. This is why this guy's a genius in words. He's absolutely a genius. It's just incredible what he's done. I'm going to recommend this as the most spiritual, orgasmic book you will ever read, period, of syncretism, The Language Crystal. And I only started reading it yesterday, and I'm up to page 17, 19, chapter 3. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's too much information here. It's just staggering. And no, actually, I'm up to done better than that. I'm up to page 54. Now, if we've got time, I would love to, I would love to share some things from this book. For instance, look at the word Jerusalem. Hiding in the middle of the word Jerusalem is USA, and flanked by USA to the left is R, and to the right is L. And so the New Jerusalem, the USA, flanked by R and L, right and left, are bringing to you, basically the New Jerusalem, whether for good or for evil. I mean, ultimately, I believe it's going to be a New Jerusalem in the real sense. We will go back to, the real values of freedom, not democracy. Probably in the past they defined it as a republic, but we'll have a new word for it. We won't need a new word for it. It's just freedom. Responsible self-determination. But
oh, it's okay. You're good now. No, it's good now.
And,
yeah.
And look at the word. And look at also the word Berlin. B-E hyphen, let's hyphenate it. R-L, right and left in the middle, and then hyphenated I-N. Berlin. B, right and left, in. Now,
and I-N, Santo, I-N means also the I, there's the below, the stick, the meat stick, and the God above. And N, this just further proves the Phoenician rules that we're all busting up. N makes it mine, so what it says is myself. So B, right, left, myself. Yeah,
absolutely. So that we can realize the unity. There was a great philosopher, Theon of Smyrna, and he wrote a book on mathematics useful for understanding Plato. And he refers to Apollo. You see, in Greek, the A privative deprives the rest of the word of its meaning. It gives it the opposite meaning. So, Polo means everything, because you can see all in that word. Allo in Greek means all. A-double-L-O. Just chop off the last O. You've got the English word for all. And you've got the Islamic word for all. So Polo means not the one. So Polo in Greek refers to this unity consciousness. The one, the original. Sat, because it's the proto. The one, the original. And so he explains this, apollo, the opposite of all, and he says these beautiful words: unity is the principle of all things, and the most dominant of all that is. All things emanate from it, and it emanates from nothing. It is indivisible, and it is everything in power. It is immutable, and never departs from its own nature, through multiplication. Everything that is intelligible and not yet created exists in it. The nature of ideas, God Himself, the soul, the beautiful and the good, and every intelligible essence, such as beauty itself, justice itself, equality itself. For we conceive each of these things as being one, as existing in itself. This is the true power that we have, the unity that is in, not the duality, the division. So when we find this unity, we have found power, because power comes from unity. Force comes from duality. Electricity is force. Magnetism is a power. Our sun is a transformer. That's all it is. It transforms primary power into secondary force. And so we are suns too. We transform primary power from our hearts. It comes from our hearts, because our hearts are the core, the apple core of the toroidal field which we are. So in our hearts we shall bring about the unity of power. And we don't need force. Unity is power. And so this is what it means. This is why Jesus basically reproved Nicodemus in the Gospel of John, chapter 3. He says, "What? You are a teacher in Israel, and you do not know how it is to be born again?" Because Nicodemus said, "How can I? What, do I need to go into my mother's womb to be born again?" And he says, "What? As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness is the ecliptic, and it runs through your body, and it runs through the center of your body, your spinal column, the Jacob's ladder. And the man, the Son of Man, is the son of manna, the manna from heaven, head, the cerebrospinal fluids. So once you lift them up, you will be born again. The son of manna must be lifted up. No one has descended unless he has descended," said Jesus. And the manna descends from the holy claustrum, Santa Claus, at the North Pole, giving us gifts, and then we need to return them, do our tithing, and then we will have this rebirth. This is the rebirth of unity consciousness. And all those partaking of this table are partaking of it, even the shills. You know, even the bar.
Absolutely. Yeah, everyone that comes to this table is partaking in the new paradigm, whether they're aware of it or whether they want to. The simple truth is their consciousness brought them here. Every choice they've made, including the ones that are getting paid to be here, are being given a gift of universal language. And the seeds that get planted at this table, to anyone that's listening, are the full intention seeds from my garden. And by the way, it's the right side of the river in Eden. They take root and they grow real big, real fast, real strong. Enjoy.
Yeah, you know, the bar who are now shitting themselves, they're welcome to come and sit on this table to find out how they can redeem their world of words. You know, they can do that. I offer my love to Jeff Chettle, who is a people trafficker in Melbourne, a magistrate who works under Robert Doyle, the Chief Magistrate of Melbourne, who is a people trafficker. These are my brothers. They're welcome to Unity Consciousness too. You know, the sooner they join us, the sooner we'll be, will be out of the shit because they are the ones that are creating it due to their own intentions, you know. So let's hope there's some good intentions there, and we can reach these people. They've come here for a reason, and I believe that you know, the so-called good and the evil will partake of the one table. They'll have to. There's no other table. There's only one table of truth. Lies always continue to be backed up by more lies. Truth stands on its own. You know, once you say one lie, oh man, you got to do a lot of work and running around to protect that lie. And you see, Rome is a lie. And it goes around and around and around, doing a lot of work to protect that lie. How many of our brothers have been killed or whacked? You know, a la Aaron Swartz, a la John Lennon and JFK, just to mention a few. Michael Jackson, throw him in. Whitney Houston. They've all, you know, they were all speaking out against this monstrosity of unconsciousness that has plagued the planet. And they were all there to voice their truth, not their opinions, their truth, so that we could be saved. Well, look at how Rome goes out of its way to assassinate these ones. Get them out of the way, sweep them under the table, let's hide, because it's already a lie. And you've got to go around protecting that lie. That's why there's a police force. That's why there's armies. That's why there's a military-industrial complex. That's why they're all nervous and hiding their illegal gains. You know, they're hiding in their prisons underground, hoping that justice won't come. You know, Marco today in the show that we did explained that Pope Francis has everything, all the arms he needs to bring down the system and bring about a year of Jubilee. But he says that won't happen until the criminals are brought in. Rest assured that Pope Francis is going to bring in some criminals. It will happen, and he's waiting for that to announce the year of Jubilee. See, before Pope Boniface in 1307 wrote the first express trust, the papal bull Unum Sanctum, before that, every 50 years there was a year of Jubilee, and all debts were zeroed. Kind of handy, that. But good old do-gooder Boniface, which means pretty much like Bonacci, it means do-gooder. It didn't do much good. He did a lot of bad instead. And so he wiped out the concept of Jubilee. And so Jubilees are coming back, and it's going to be we the people who are going to announce it, and there will be a total elimination of fictional debt on the planet. And what will rise up in its place is true value. And we will expend that value as we wish and as we will, and as we legislate, or not necessarily legislate, as we go under law. We are the law, and I will determine my law, my universal law. And so I will expend my energy where I wish to. If I wish to read books, I will do that. If I wish to play the guitar, I will do that. There will be no one from Rome coming here to tell me how to do. There will be no slave traders coming to my door. You know, that ain't going to happen. You can try. But, you know, I posted the evidence of the slave trading on my Facebook 3 days ago when I received a 7-day notice for $132,000 of fictional debt. Funny about that, I thought it was about $500,000 actually. I think because it's about 7 years old. What happens after 5 years is that debt just drops off. It falls off the edge of the earth. So I think the bar are thinking, you know, that they might redeem a portion of all those debts. I think I incurred nearly $1 million. I don't know. I don't give a shit, you know, because it's just, you know, a hocus-pocus, fiction, fiat, pornographic, pedophile land that it's all concerned. I'm not concerned with that because I'm a sovereign. I'm a god. I'm a king. So, well, all we need to do is to stay in that power, know who you are, and, you know, and critical mass will manifest on the time plane a lot quicker than what we think, because we are so powerful. Everything that we experience right now, in this very moment, we have attracted to ourselves through our own intent and contracts, etc., 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 thoughts that have, some have come back to haunt us. We've even created egregores. We've created our own egregores, creatures, etc., that have haunted us. And we are also the creators that can cancel those contracts and eliminate them and create new ones. We can create knowledge forms, and that's what we're doing. This is why I am imparting knowledge, because the more people get knowledge, the more they create these forms of knowledge. And you see, when you're walking around inside a knowledge form, people can tell. They can tell you're not a dunce. They look at you and they go,
Not playing with that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, just wanted to share this. I like throwing just razzmatazz stuff out to the universe to, see what comes back. And I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, I had the thought of 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 8. Just came to my mind. And I thought, okay, well, I have to check that. So I was going to check it a couple of days ago and forgot. And then I was thinking on the way back here today, I got to remember to do that. And of course, I got here and I was going to do it before the show, and I thought, while you were talking there, that thought hit me again. So I thought, I better do a quick little search while Santos is talking. I want to see, obviously all things for a reason. Everything is perfect. You can't make any mistakes. So I thought, well, I'm going to do that, and this is exactly the moment it needs to be done. So I'm going to see what it has to say, because I had no idea. I just, as it turns out, there are only 13 verses in chapter 3 of 1 Thessalonians, and I thought it was rather interesting. Now, for those listening, you already know that we decipher the book allegorically anyway. Never to take that book literally, otherwise you'll end up with, the system that you have here, the Whore of Babylon, how everything has been perverted, right? Oh, woe unto you lawyers and scribes, for you have perverted the truth. So anyway, I'm really tempted to read the whole. It's only 13. It's not very long. Like it's a very short chapter. I was surprised. 13 verses in it. Anyway, is 13 a coincidence? Oh, that's right. That's the Christ consciousness, isn't it? Yeah, the 13th warrior. Anyway, let me go through this. Now, keep your ears open, guys. When I'm referring to God or Father or Lord Christ or whatever the case may be, you know what that is. That's the Christ consciousness and the oneness, all right? So listen to it with allegorical ears. And and anytime I see, like, the word Lord, I transmute that into truth, right? And because you are your own Lord. It's like Jehoshua, also known as the Greek name of Jesus. Jehoshua made it very clear, why do you call me Lord and not do the things that I ask you to do? Morons. They didn't put that in the King James edition, though. That's the one I added. But anyway, so if you would bear with me for a second, it'd take me about 3 minutes to read this. So let me go through this, and then I'll tell you what. Some people have already looked it up. So anyway, it's 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, and verse 8 is the one that was knocking in my head. And when I looked at it, I went, yeah, that totally works. So here we go. No coincidences. Ready? Now, take this, what I'm going to read you right now, take this in context of everything that is occurring right now. All right? How it matters in your game, all your confirmations, and there'll be things in here that I'm going to share that are just going to ring bells like crazy. I know they will. This just went right off the grid with me. So here it is. Verse 1. Wherefore, when we could no longer forbear, we thought it good to be left at Athens alone. 2. And sent Timotheus, our brother and minister of God, and our fellow laborer in the gospel of Christ, to establish you and to comfort you concerning your faith. Now, I see Timotheus as the time of God, right? That no man should be moved by these afflictions, for yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. That basically says, yeah, you came here to do a job. All right? You know this. I'm not telling you something you don't know. 4. For verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and ye know. For this cause, when I could no longer forbear, I sent to know your faith, lest by some means the tempter have tempted you, and our labor be in vain. What this is saying to me so far is, have you been baited by the whore of Babylon? So, by some means the tempter have tempted you. Are you still tempted by all things material? Are you still tempted by the whore of Babylon and all of her commerce? Are you still, under that grip of the physical past, the literal? Okay. Go on to 6. But now, when Timotheus came from you unto us, and brought us good tidings of your faith and charity, and that ye have good remembrance of us always, desiring greatly to see us, as we also to see you. So this is the as above, so below talking. 7. Therefore, brethren, we were comforted over you in all our affliction and distress by your faith. Which, the war in heaven is the war on earth. So that's when I read this stuff, I'm reading it from both perspectives. Now here's verse 8. For now we live, if you stand fast in the Lord. For now we live, if you stand fast in the truth. 9. For what thanks can we render to God again for you, for all the joy wherewith we joy for our sakes before our God, and that's us, ourselves. Night and day praying exceedingly that we might see your face, and might perfect that which is lacking in your faith. Now God himself and our Father and our Lord Jesus Christ direct our way unto you. So that is for me the higher self talking that we're there. And the Lord make you to increase and abound in love toward one another and toward all men, even as we do toward you, which is saying the more love you can emit towards all men, the more love you're going to magnetically attract into your field, into your toroidal field. And 13, the last one is, to end, he may establish your hearts unblameable in holiness before God, even our Father, at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ with all his saints. And that is when you finally get to the Christ consciousness. And what Santo had said earlier, this is why this resonated so deeply. All of those things, all those good intentions that have been sent out are coming back. What you sow, you have sown these seeds throughout your lives. So shall ye reap. This is why, for me, the golden rule is the be-all and end-all rule. That which you have wished upon another, you have wished upon yourself. That's why I have no vengeance. I simply let nature, universal law, take its course. I accept all things, and I travel accordingly. It's pretty simple. But there you go. For now we live if you stand fast in the truth. What do you think? Pretty cool?
Oh, yeah, beautiful. That's basically just explaining that to stand in the Lord, who is the Lord? Well, look at, it begins with the letter L. That's inner light, according to the language crystal. Ra is outer light. Inner light is L. So if you remain in the inner light, L, and you have OR, or, gold, and D is delta, the doorway of knowledge, gnosis. So if you remain in the inner light, you will have that gold, or, and you will have the doorway, the delta, to the eternal. So yeah, remain in the light of the Lord. I love the Lord. In fact, I said jokingly to someone here in my family the other day. I said, I've been praying to Jehovah since I was a kid. I was raised, baptized a Catholic at 2. My mum became a witness at, I think I was 3 or 4, so she brought me to the meetings. I was Jehovah's Witness, praying to Jehovah. Then 13 comes along and I learnt about cannabis and girls and did that for till all my teenage years, till 19. And then I decided, I want to, go back to God and so I became a Jehovah's Witness, go figure, for 20 years. But all the while, even when I was in my teens, I can remember I was always still preaching spirituality, and I was always known to be different or felt different from other people because either I was ostracized or they made a comment about that part of my nature. So, jokingly, I said, I've always been praying to Jehovah right up until today. I still pray to Jehovah because I realised that Jehovah, the wannabe prime creator, the demiurgos, Jesus, call it whatever you want, is good and evil. He has two faces. Only God, as Jesus said, only the Father who art in heaven is good. Because Jesus, the beautiful, or whoever, call him Jehovah, I pray to Jehovah, because I realise that he's my big brother, and he created me in his image. And I'm pleading to him and praying to him so that he can have a change of heart too. Because the demiurgos has to change heart. It must change its heart too. As above, so below. It's not only me that needs to do the right, honourable thing. So does my solar system. I must pray the sun, Jesus, Amun, Jehovah, the solar orb of our solar system, to also do what is honourable as a solar system should do. It should be a vortex of enlightenment. Our sun should have done its job to bring us out of incarnation and back to the Empyrean. And we need to press upon him, Jehovah, Shiva, our Lord, the sun in the sky, to do his job properly. And that's why I've been praying all my life. My life, the moment I wake up, I am in prayer. And this is what I'm talking now. This is a prayer. P-R-A, Ra, Y. Pra. I always pray because I am also a ray. So when you put a P in front of ray, which is what you are, a ray of sunlight, you are from ray. Apo. Apo is the Greek word for from. So ray means from the ray. And so, which ray? Well, we are all ray. We are all Ra and El because we are real. Real. We are we are rebels, etc., etc. We have a left and a right, a red and a blue. Red and blue is electrical polarized light. Comes from white light. You can check it out in a laboratory. You get white light and you see that it's undivided. There's no, it's pure.
Well, yeah. Hey, Santo, just funny you mentioned that. I just finished typing in the room. Photon. You know what a photon is, right?
Yep.
Right?
It's a so-called photon. Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's get phonics on it. You can pronounce it fa-tone. What's the root note, right? The medieval scale is fa. It's dead center at the heart of the scale, the music scale, right? Do, re, mi, fa, 4 is the 4 position. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. So there you have fa, which is the heart note, which coincides with the 4th chakra, which is the heart. And, of course, what is that? The lion. And the lion can be the beautiful beast of truth and all the rest of it, or it could mean that you're lying. You're lying to somebody. So again, it's about once you uncover the phonics aspects, you start generating the right intents with the right sounds, right? If we're caught in these spells, then and when we're just Babylon, right? When we're just babbling on, what's happening is all of the intentions that were placed there. Now, see, I don't see the evil in this. I see both good and evil on both sides of this, and I see it strictly from a gamer's viewpoint. You can't have a game without opposing sides. So, and that's where I stand to make sure that everything I look at is neutral. But isn't it interesting that the fa tone or photon is right there in the phonics of that sound of the heart tone? That's where the light is created from within. That's the true ray, right? You are the Ra, the light of God. That's what you are. We're all fractals of the universe. So I just wanted to toss that in when you were talking about light there and being divided.
Well, you just proved it because you just said what photon means. It has 2 meanings, and haven't we always said that language is light? That's what I'm teaching. And so phonetics, photon. Phonetics comes from the photon, which is the word and the light. Hence, the word who says, no one goes, I'm the light of the world, no one goes to the Father except through me, is also known as the Word of God. It's the photon. That's what it is. The so-called photon, because in the atomic physics world of the academic left-brainers, they've got no idea what it is. It's a torus field, and it's the smallest torus field in the universe. It's a hydrogen toroidal field, which replicates itself and does not travel. It doesn't ravel. It doesn't it repeats itself, and so and hydrogen being 70% of the universe, these little torus fields of serpents, Hydra, run the universe. The universe is run by this hydrogen, water, and so it's the smallest of the toroidal fields, and that's what it's pertaining to. That's what the photon is, and it's also the word, because it makes a sound, Ra. That's it.
Exactly. Now, I'm not sure if you're into it, but we have Bindy's here, and I know she's got some cool stuff to share, as well as Arthur. He's got some cool stuff to share. If you want to do a little aside of, maybe some interesting things.
Yeah, bring it on. Yeah.
All right. Well, Bindy, did you want to go first?
Sure. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I've been listening in awe, thinking my brain was going to explode when Santos and you both started talking about, everything basically. Because I've been writing a bad song. It's basically a download, and it's not too long, so I'll share it.
Please do.
A bit longer than what I usually do, so bear with me. I sing the song of a vigilante's quest. Picture, if you will, a spiral. Trajectory point, the brain, body temple, lower self, the child ego or quad. Dancing in the dark to primal drums and rattles, the spiral goes down deeper into the more decrepit and murky reflections of me and you. I feel the warrior inside burning to fight, but temper Boudica's anger. It's just the hang-ups wherein the child ego has a strong hold on lax strategies and mind games, without or with display of emotion. So far, child play indeed. Deeper still, the microdrama makes way for its inevitable holographic macro-twin, the confusion and psychotic horror in the world around. Balanced lower self, however, knows that strength comes from a childlike wonder in connection with Gaia, our mother. It's a rare quality of warrior, usually first to go deep and dark. The shaman's quest has no use of swords and words. The Tutadana's children know who they are, no need for a name. The monster down there is me, and therefore equally immortal. My instincts tell me to flee when the roar of the animal hits the air. I conjure courage out of the same void the fear emanates from, utterly surprised. Clarity amidst the fog of fright clears doubt. There in the dirt and taut shame, parts of my power lay trapped and waiting to be liberated. It's a case of the faster I'm in, the better. The initial reliving of pain feeding the child's ego's hold. Though soon the experience and clarity that comes with courage in the second act kick in, and release from its hold with a rush increased true self-knowledge and light. The God I am to be, the body temple responds with a release. It's an act of pure alchemy which propels an equal and opposite reaction to this request of reverse creation, spiral out, all the way out into liquid stellar nova. The leap of courage pulls inward, as awareness spirals out and up, oversight and insight beams back to me, reflecting consciousness from, dare I say, all angles or angels in one. So overwhelming, the body becomes a conduit of I am, originally created to be. Reconnect, reboot, reconnect to higher self, remember and be. I re-enter the leveled trials and quests toward the state of nirvana, knowing I am strong, with Medusa's head firmly in my grasp. To reprogram the body temple, a maze of mind, from a place of love, abused as she has been in my lesser knowing. Again, reverse and opposite co-creation occurs over a period of time, guided by visualization and the partaking of the sacrament of my inner holy sea. It is here all journeys home start, from the bottom up, crossing the lake and lifting the mists around Avalon, with the rise of the sacred oil. Cherished by the guiding force that is consciousness burning ever brighter. I surrender and stop fighting, stop hating, stop desiring, and see it serve and save myself or nothing. For what a feast I may be, that winged ray that looks the minotaur in the eye and reclaims dominion when polarization flows to neutral, inside out, game over. I stand cause, a rung closer to heaven. There you go.
Nicely done.
Ooh.
Yeah, not too much of a head toss in there. Thank you. Great visuals.
You're welcome.
Beautiful.
Well done, Mindy. Well done. That is a beautiful poem. It is a proclamation, really, for one and all. We can all appreciate that and speak that one forth. Our words are our light. Words are light. Photons, phonetics, light.
All of it.
Yep.
All of it.
And writing this, that is the one clarity that comes through that. And what you just said, words are prayers, and basically they're vibrations that become things. And be careful what you make into reality.
Every thought's a wish. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very, very careful about what I wish for, because I wish that all of our beautiful, beautiful family is one. So whatever I do, that's the intent behind it. What you see is what you get. And, we are not like those little puppets. Barack Obama says a lot. Boy, he talks a lot. Most of it's out of his ass because he's been strung up by China. China tells him what to say. And so we don't do that. We don't have any strings. We can tell all those strings to fuck off, because here we are free. And once again, thanks to this platform, and the guys, Paul Giovanni, doing a great job keeping it going, and everyone else that comes to this table and spreads these audio files, I would shove them in emails and send them to officials throughout the universe. Anyone thinks they've got some kind of force working for them, police forces, the bar, entities that have no power at all. Send them these audio files daily. Send them 10 every day. 10 of them. Kate of Gaia and Santos Bonacci. Let them have it. They'll love it. One day they will be just living the words that we speak, because they will realize it's the only thing that will give them bliss, Sat Chit Ananda. All the little games is just... The Bible says that they stab themselves over with many, many pains. They're killing themselves. Do we love them? I feel sorry for Jeff Chettle. He's actually sitting on the case of Kerry Marks and Mickey Oliar. He's trafficking their energy. He's terrorizing them. They have been terrorized, and I'm sure he doesn't want that, because it's going to return to him one day. Surely he must know that. He's not dumb. He's in the bar. He's done his education. He's got a brain. Surely. So that's my intent. So I'm really careful about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to be very careful. Without question.
And look at careful. If you don't see Ra and El hiding in there,
Well, again, look at the Po, Lie, Say, police. Po, spirit, lie of creation. So it's a spirit lie of creation. Now it can also be pronounced Po, Li, Say, which is Li meaning calm. Right? So equal and opposite. And these are the spells that we're caught under. It's yes, guys, I am working on basically the Dummy's Guide to Phonic. Someone had asked me about that, and that's what I'm doing. Still working on it. And what I probably will do in it is a handful of words just to show the different ways that you can spell it, different ways you can pronounce it. Excuse me, just to show that all the rules no longer apply. And as soon as you just get that concept and start just messing around, play, be a child, have some fun with your crayons and words. And that's all it takes. Because once you're there, and you want a confirmation of the magic in this place. I was talking with Frank earlier today. He's out in British Columbia, actually just before the show, and that's what he was saying to me. Is I can't hear words now without busting them apart. It's driving, isn't it fun? And that's it. All you need to do is see the magic. And here's the thing about being a child and having magic at your fingertips. It just keeps your vibration going up and up and up. And of course we create the vacuum below us. There's the potential wave that we're building higher and higher. We're creating a larger void below us, and that just pulls all of the sleepy people into the lateral time shift. So now we're going to start seeing new and improved versions of people that we thought would never awaken, well, in that timeline, they're still the way they are. But because you're in this timeline, in this reality, that's what you're manifesting. This is how we create our world around us. All we have to do is change ourselves from within, and it's as simple as realizing. I know it sounds simple, but it is. It is as simple that you are all, and you're fooling yourself. This is the game, the cosmic joke of can I kid myself? And we're doing a pretty good job. So take the win. It's a win. It's not a loss. It's a win. It depends on how you look at it. Counterclockwise, clockwise, Earth. Well, it's both. So what you might deem to be the loss is actually the win, and what you might deem to be the win can actually be the loss. In as much as the same way that the more you go out to help people, interfering with their life path, the more shit comes down on you. So that's how I was able to look at everything that happened to me and go, well, that's just a measure of how much help I was doing. And the universe in the mirror, trashes the physical. And now it's, because I come to this understanding, the game is now flipping back. So it's not difficult. It can be an interesting walk, but play the game. Get into the game. And I know we have Arthur waiting to chime in as well. Art, toss in some of your thoughts.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good.
Just thinking about what Santos was thinking about. Santos saying, pray. I just break it apart. Pray, praise. What does praise mean? Praise is gratitude. So you can be and do in the same sentence. You can be in the thought of creation and be grateful for the ability to think it. It's just amazing how we can step out of the old paradigms of this is the way to think and this is the way to act and be, moored by the peer pressure or be drugged down by self-doubt. We step out of the self-doubt and step out of the fear. It's amazing what we create. That beautiful, beautiful song was, I was mesmerized. That was amazing.
Yeah, the only thing that can drag us down is ourself. If you buy into the emotions and get all left brainy and fluffy about it, you're owned. It's funny when I watch, and I do it deliberately. I'll throw some energy into the room just to see who is ready or not. And those that are hang out, and those that aren't don't, and that's okay.
Who wants to play?
Who wants to play? You want to play with me? I play the high game.
And it's very interesting how much more fun the game becomes the more involved you get in it. The more involved, the more emotionally involved, the more spiritually involved, understanding that I am creating everything that I am experiencing, owning that and loving and being grateful for that experience. If it doesn't suit, it doesn't fit, like you said, Kate, be done with it. No more of that.
Yeah, I'm done playing in the kindergarten playpen. I had suggested about setting up a room. I don't know if you caught it in the room or not, but I was going to set up one for I forget what I called it, left brain or legal fiction monkey chatterer playpen.
Okay, no, I didn't get that.
You want to play in the Monopoly Whore of Babylon game? That's fine. I'll put a playpen there for you. That's play mind. And when you're ready to step out of that and be all grown up and start accepting responsibility instead of looking for something to solve something physically, you'll be okay. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I am the witness. What am I witnessing?
Yeah, I am the knowing. and it's about taking responsibility for that. And that's exactly what we do every night here. We try to anyway. I think we get it done for the most part.
I certainly have fun.
Yeah, I might ruffle a few feathers here or there, but, so be it, right?
I've often said if someone isn't offended, then they're not really looking at who they are.
Well, you see, that's the thing. Spirit can't be offended. Spirit accepts all things. Only an ego can be offended. And this is, for me, the test. If anything ruffles my feathers, I go, wait a minute. There's still something there that I need to get rid of the charge on.
Uh-huh.
But see, that's where I stop immediately and go, oh, wait a minute. There's something there. And as soon as I sense it, I go, no, wait a minute. I'm going to look at that and see what it is. And I'll just look at it, and then it blows. Okay, I'm good. Now, so this is exactly how I peel my own onion, my own Orion, my own star creator, right? I peel away all of the layers that way. So if there's something still sticking to me or a thread somewhere still attached, I am ruthless. I'm looking for them, right? I'm looking for things that might give me a rise or whatever. And I got to tell you, there's not much left there.
When you step out of judgment, it's so easy to step into gratitude, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, when you know that everything is perfect. And that was really it for me. It was the term accept all things to get me to the timeline that I need to be at to accept all things.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's a fun place to be.
I like it.
Sure. And it's this keeps popping up the last couple of days, but I keep thinking of the scene in The Matrix where Neo and I think Morpheus walk in the street, and then all of a sudden there's the lady in the red dress. And it's a good idea when you're clearing, make sure the lady in the red dress doesn't slip you away, Mickey.
Yeah, because you turn around and look at the distraction. There's Mr. Smith with a gun in his hand, staring you down.
Yeah.
Can you be distracted?
And the lady in the red dress keeps popping up in different forms every time you don't go deep and dirty and dance in the dark and find out what it is that ruffles the feathers.
You know, so
same lady in a different dress all the time.
Oh, exactly. And Mike, I got your mic open as well, so if you want to jump in, and I know I've got Jim on the line here as well. So, and Joe Tara, all right, from down under, fellow Aussie there, Santo.
Beautiful.
Good morning. Hi, Santos.
Hello.
Hey, Katie.
Hey, how are you? Everybody, how are you? Oh.
Perfect.
So, go ahead.
I have your music now. Thank you, brother.
Beautiful.
That was a little bit of a new day. You guys are so on it. We are on it. I mean, I've been having such wonderful thoughts and knowledge and listening to all of you at the table so far today. Whoo! Yes. Such a beautiful world.
Just waiting for someone to jump in. Santo, take the floor.
Yeah, my pleasure. I just thought I'd done enough speaking, but I like to hear what everybody else has got to say too. It's beautiful to hear. I know, we've got some frickin' warriors here on this table, and so it's good to hear. I'm so proud of Kirsty. I remember when I was in Hull. She gave me a bit of the history of what happened, you see, and so what did she go do? She went to court there, and she went as the witness, and mentioned the moment she mentioned the word slavery and enticement to slavery, judge bows and takes a hike. That's how you deal with fictions. You witness them, and you put them on notice that is slavery going on here or not. Whoops, that's the nastiest word in the universe. I better bow down to this sovereign and get the hell out of there and change my nappies. Because that's what Kirsty would have done. That's how much power we have. That judge had to go quickly to the toilet. That's where he had to go. He had to get rid of that dump that he just did. They're not used to it.
Santos, that's how we're painting the picture now. We're going to present it to people, everybody, like this. Slavery or freedom.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yep. Absolutely. Take a pick. There's no other way. It's either slavery or freedom. Are we free or are we slaves? Am I your slave? Where's it written that I am your slave? Where is it? Show me that and I'll do it.
Abandon ship.
And
exactly.
The simple thing for people, they're getting this. And I've been through it myself, and I go through it. It's the ego, the mind control program, really tries to steer people away from this notion, to put it that clear. And of course, what do you mean slavery? Like, we can paint it in many different ways, in the physical, spiritual way that this has been done. And this is what's coming right to the forefront. And we don't have to talk so much story. This is the starting point. You guys realize?
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, and the Pope's given us his blessing, really, by stepping out of his juridic person and issuing the July 11th motu proprio and the two other ones subsequent to that one, dealing with going after the corporate fiction. And I do believe, if I'm not wrong, some can correct me, but I do think that he referenced the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. Now, Marco on the call today, earlier on, he mentioned this. He mentioned that this is one particular law of the United Nations which applies to all individuals regardless of what country they live in. We do have universal rights, period. That's it. And they do get scared of this this Universal Declaration of Human Rights, even though it's probably, what would you say, Kate? I mean, it's...
Well, I talked about this a few months ago with regards to the Geneva Convention, and all of the doctrines contained within the Geneva Convention all came into play. And you see, here's the thing, and this is why you have to separate yourself from legal and lawful, because all things legal apply to all people consenting to be legal. Those who make the rules must obey them. And the only way that you can empower yourself is to know that you are lawful, therefore making you living. So you are the witness. This is the fine line that so many people are still not crossing. There are many that have got there, but it's like this. Once you establish yourself within yourself on this, this is not about, I'm going to go look for permission at a court and see where I am actually a witness and a sovereign being, because it's got to be on the book somewhere, idiot. No, that choice is made within. I've actually had these questions asked of me over the years, okay? Where do I go to the government site to see where it shows that I'm sovereign? If you have to do that, there's nothing sovereign about you, okay? This is about taking the law, the common, the with my law, unto self as the witness. So once you establish in yourself that you are the living God witness, I am the witness, I am God in the state of knowing, now you are wearing your own crown. You are the crow that's mine that has true cause. Now your voice can be heard. It is the voice of the cause, the crow that must do its calling, okay? So now that you establish yourself outside of the legal realms, that's where the common law court is invoked. So you don't need to build courthouses. Every one of these courthouses are yours to use. What most people don't understand is when they go into a court, it is automatically assumed and presumed that you're coming into an admiralty court. That is the assumption, presumption, default position of the courts. They only want to do commerce. But what is still there, and in order for them to have any sort of court at all, is the common law. And this is why they want to remove people so very quickly. Anyone that walks in as a witness, they want to get them out there, because as soon as you come to life and know who you are in a courtroom, you are the authority, and you are there as a witness to all of the crimes of the judge, the lawyers, the cops, anybody that's in there, and they know it. So they got to get you the hell out of there. And don't worry if there's a bench warrant going to be issued on the name. Go ahead, collect a piece of paper. That's what they're looking for. Because here's the thing. Once a witness, always a witness. You remove yourself from their jurisdiction completely. And people are still asking me, how do I do this, Kate? Then if you need to ask that question, you still haven't got the concept. So getting back to United Nations regulations, yes, everyone that is decidedly dead legal fiction and think that they're a name on a piece of paper, well, they're all the dead, you see. Those are the zombies. That's the graveyard filled with zombies, and you're the only living one there. You command all the zombies at this point. Now, you as the living witness in a common law court can invoke all of their rules against. That's evil destroying itself. Those that make the rules must obey the rules. If you are dead by consent, it works both ways, boys and girls. We've been getting nailed being dead by consent all along. Guess what? Turn the tables. Operation Jesus in the Temple. So yes, of course they need anyone that's still in the legal game. I don't care if you're a bar member, judge, lawyer, cop, everyday anybody. It doesn't matter to me. If you're using the Whore of Babylon, Mark of the Beast legal name, you are dead. If you want to play in acts and statutes, you are dead, and they can do whatever they want in universal honor. And you will not get your ability to create a ritual or your universal rights back, rights as in rituals, until you see this, until you know this and can stand in it. It's simple. So what you're saying, Sando, is absolutely true, but I need people to step outside of it. You're not going in punching it out like with lawyers, because here's a fact. Lawyers, practicing lawyers, cannot set foot in a common law court. That's a fact. It's mano a mano. The accuser and the wrongdoer. Okay? It's that simple. And this is where I'm still nailing this home with people. It's getting there, I need to know why. I need people to know why you get removed from these courtrooms, because they are in a very, very dangerous and treacherous position as soon as you come to life. That's why the judge bowed to me that day. That's why the judge bowed to Christy and is it Kirsty or Christy? I always get this one.
Kirsty.
Kirsty. This is why the judge bowed to Kirsty and the other three that were there with her, because he had to. He's bowing out. That's also a sign of surrender. I give. Okay? So it's in as much as the dishonor's there, but we got to keep in mind we don't want vengeance here. So it's very easy to go, oh yeah, the judge. I've done it. What an asshole he ran. I also said, yeah, what an asshole for doing what he's doing. But on the other side of it, there's a being that is playing because they have to. They have to play by universal law. That's the game here. People keep forgetting that there's that beautiful invisible. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. Infrared, ultraviolet light. That's a fact. It is there, and that's where I stand. It is in that place, truth. That's where I stand. And when people get there, they know it. And I've had countless people over the last week or so texting me, like a Facebook or Skype or whatever, and they're saying, Kate, I finally see what you and Santo and everybody is talking about. I finally see it. Thank you. They've had their aha moment. That's where you need to get to. If you're still playing in the playpen, you will not have this power. You are still, as a dead legal, you're going to get your ass handed to you spiritually and physically, dead thing. And I will applaud. Someone comes up against it and wants to beat the living shit out of you because you're fighting in a statute world, then knock yourself out. This is a universe trying to wake you up. I'm going to applaud the being that's doing that job with absolute gratitude. That's why, for me, anyone that came against me, in terms of my position, I have nothing but gratitude, because if they hadn't, I wouldn't have got here to the level I'm at. So now it's very easy for me to say, no vengeance. I say, that was beautiful. And I really wish for you to experience the same thing to get you here where I am. Mirror, mirror. That which you wish upon another, you wish upon yourself. How can I not wish that back in a perfect mirror with gratitude? Of course I want that consciousness, that part of me awake. And if it means that a mayor and a cop and a bunch of cops and some lawyers and everything else get their homes ripped away from them, their families destroyed, and their whole universe is ripped apart, well, it took that for me to get to where I am, and it's the measure of how much I was shredded to how much truth I've been able to bring forth. I see it perfectly in the mirror, equal and opposite. How can I not wish that for someone? And it satiates Fluffy a little too, and going, see, you're going to get what you get. But I don't want to be there. I'm looking at it going, you see, here's where I have to get to the absolute gratitude of it, and I'm okay with it. If that's what it takes for them to go through, no, I've been through it. I wouldn't want to do that again, but that which you wished upon me, you've wished upon yourself. I will not trespass on your free will choice to experience this, and that's why I accept all things. I'm good. Have a nice day.
Hey, Kate. Joe here.
Yeah.
I would like to... Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear, hon.
Great. Adding to that, about a week ago, I was sitting down to watch a movie called About Time, which is profound in its own right. There's all these analogies here. I'm going to try and pull them together. And my daughter walked up and said, oh, there's a message. And it was a message about a government body tracking down the name. And I thought, oh, fuck. You know, and I felt the energy go through me, and I thought, oh, well, you know, I'll just have to deal with this. This has been what I've been setting myself up for 6 months to deal with if it was to come about. And I just had a nice smoke to watch this movie about time. So I was completely up to date, and I thought, what a great opportunity to explore the sensations. And I went, wow, God, I feel empowered. Oh, so ready for this. Yep. And I just put out this full intention to go, I'm this God, and there's no way in the world they can touch me. I'm glad it's finally here because of where I stood, and this whole energy shifted through me for about 10 minutes of the movie going on. And then as the movie kicked in, it was about this guy sliding through time, through his past, and how it affected him. And it was a brilliant movie, absolutely brilliant movie. And I just sat there and laughed. I thought, here we are. Here I am, this complete God of my own timeline. And I was just talking to my son about, with our homeschooling, we're going to create stories about timelines and how we want to generate whatever it is we're putting out there and writing these sort of things. So all of this kept coming together on this timeline. And then whilst I'm watching About Time, that whole scenario kicked in that I was, you know, knew could come about, but here when it did, I felt completely empowered. I know that what we've talked about as the witness, as the God, there's nothing that can touch me, catch this. You know, it was like this empowered, beautiful state. And then from that moment onwards, I've stepped up Jacob's ladder. You know, the synchronizations that have happened since then, everything that you guys are saying is just so banging at me. You know, like, and I actually rang in, not to talk to you about that. I rang in because I picked up the card from the animal cards today. I picked the crow, and I wanted to read you the crow, and you've brought it up a few times, so I wanted to get on that as well because of that's the synchronized events that I've stood in that power. The synchronized events are profound. Just to add to that, the next day I spoke to my daughter who'd sent this message through, and I said, what did they say when they rang you? She said, no, it didn't say that. It was this other completely, she mistyped something, and I'd perceived that message that came to me the night before was completely unreal. Didn't happen. It was just a story in my own mind. That
I love when that happens. That's funny.
You know, and it just came to me, and so I had to laugh, and then that freed me up even more. Walking around just laughing the whole day, going, "Oh my God, I'm profound at what I can do." Oh yeah, right, so quite a few breadcrumb trails. Even last month we went away for holidays, and I had my wallet. I had a whole heap of stuff stolen, but anyway, I love it. I have no ID. Everything was stolen completely from my phone to, you know. So I was like, "Oh God, I'm good. Just throwing it away. I'll just get them to take it away."
Well, that's it. You know, when buddy grabbed my license, that was the first thought. Excellent. I don't have to send it back. They took it. It's friggin' funny, eh? But there's the universe telling you that's your confirmation that you don't need it anymore. So you can get all upset about, oh, my ID, it's stolen. Oh, thank you. That's your confirmation of saying, yes, you're there. Get rid of it. You're good. Untouchable. Now, move along. Right? So, you know, people keep asking me these questions. Kate, what about passports? What about this and that and the other? I says, well, you know, do what you have to do because my game is quite simple. I'm taking all the borders down. So you never need them again. That's my intent. That's my timeline that I'm laterally sliding to. I'm removing all borders, all separations in my intent. I'm creating a unity in my intent. I want nothing that's going to stop any of us from being able to be the God creators that we are. That's my intent. That's my game. And these are the things that I remain focused on. And lo and behold, what are we doing? We're sliding laterally, and we're watching people around us waking up. And that's the new and improved versions in that timeline. So this is what I'm saying. You are the universe. You know, change your mind, slide laterally, change your universe. You know, and that's really all it takes. And for me, these are some of the most, well, not some of, these are the most profound things I've uncovered, because everything that I'm working on constantly, why do you think I'm insatiable with this stuff? Because all it does is it creates a magic on top of magic on top of magic, and I get more and more excited about the lateral time slides, and it just keeps exponentiating on itself. It's friggin' awesome.
Incredible. It's incredible. The new frequency that runs with that.
Isn't it fun? And boy, are you vibrating a little bit higher? Are you getting closer to light on this one? Yeah. You know, so that's where you're changing your fa tone, right?
I'm going to read Crow, so out of the animal medicine,
okay.
What is it? Medicine cards, because I love to add to what you've been saying. Crow is an omen of change. Crow lives in the void and has no sense of time. The ancient chiefs tell us that Crow sees simultaneously the three fates, past, present, and future. Crow merges light and darkness, seeing both inner and outer reality. If Crow medicine appears in your card spread, you must pause and reflect on how you see the laws of Great Spirit in relation to the laws of humanity. Crow medicine signifies a first-hand knowledge of a higher order of right and wrong than that indicated by the laws created in human culture. With Crow medicine, you speak in a powerful voice when addressing issues that for you seem out of harmony, out of balance, out of whack, or unjust. As you learn to follow your personal integrity to be your guide, your sense of feeling alone will vanish. Your personal will can then emerge so that you will stand in your truth. The prime path of true Crow people says to be mindful of your opinions and actions. Be willing to walk your talk, speak your truth, know your life's mission, and balance past, present, and future in the now. Shape shift that old reality and become your future self. Allow the bending of physical laws to aid in creating the shape-shifted world of peace. A whole.
Perfect. You know the word medicine you just said, Crow medicine? So let's bust medicine up for a little bit. What we have is the Medi or MIDI, sign, which is spirit mind, the middle spirit mind. Also, let's have a look at it from another point of view. What did I say? Oh, the me, magnetic electric, D or die for Dios, God, the magnetic electric God, spirit mind. In consciousness, the mirror of consciousness, which is the E reversed. Yeah. This is why our Crow medicine is the most powerful. And isn't it funny? Look where we're at right now in the allegories and what we're pulling out. Like seriously, it took me a while, and I've got pretty good eyes for this stuff, but it took me a while to see the crow in there, the literal to allegorical crow. And it was, maybe a week ago when I put the crow and the cause together, a crow cause, right? And that's why we have a calling, Ka, right? And Ka is spirit. Isn't that interesting? It's just a coincidence, though. Apparently 100%, though. What a powerful read on that. But isn't that an interesting look at medicine? This is what I want to do over a bunch of words, just to show people. Get your knives out and just start slicing and dicing the words and letters up. And if you want to make a potent sigil, it's very easy to do. Just take whatever intent that you have and spell it out, but keep it in one symbol. Just keep adding the letters to it with your intent behind it, and you'll create a letter or a shape that is entirely and only yours, and that's where you're separating yourself from all Phoenician interference, where you're actually de-Phoenician. The de-Phoenician is yours. The of Phoenician or the un-Phoenician. De-Phoenician means both, equal and opposite. So now you know where you're going to put your intent. Where it was assumed and presumed to be the intent of another, just like the courts, now you're the witness. You're in the state of knowing this. So be a witness to your own creation and have fun, but be mindful. Do not do anything that trespasses on free will choice. And I'll tell you, the easiest way to do that is stay in the now, and you will slide laterally in the timeline to that point. And it's already there. Everything that ever is, ever was, ever will be is already created. In the beginning, God created the universe. We don't need to create another one, because this one is infinite in its possibilities, its endings, its beginnings, its games. We will never be bored again. This is the infinite web of reality, and we're just starting to learn how to play it again. Now, how much fun is that?
I'm in.
I'm in.
Fuck yeah.
I said that.
Yeah. Can I get a fuck yeah? Fuck yeah. I know, I heard it. That's why I thought I'd bring it up. Well done. You guys are the coolest gods I've met yet. Awesome.
In training. Yeah.
I know.
Hey, Kate, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So yesterday I kind of popped in on the show pretty late. Well, in the middle of you talking about Hercules.
Yes.
And I just wanted to know if you can sort of go back and sort of relive that moment and retell it for a minute.
Oh, what Hercules is?
Okay?
Sure, yeah.
Well, no, like the whole allegory with it, because yesterday and the day before, one of the kids that I look after, he's 3 years old, and out of the blue, I just picked up one of the Disney books that he had, and so I'm like, all right, here we go. What does he want to read now? And so Hercules, we started reading it, and so as I'm going through the entire story, I was just pulling things out left and right, and it was just like crazy because I'm reading it, and honestly, he's not understanding it, but I'm going like, oh my God.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah, and he was like, what? And then, and I'm explaining it to him, just, I'm just telling it as I'm seeing it, and right. He's like, so Hades is bad, Hercules is good, and Pain and Panic, they're evil. I'm like, yeah, they're demons. They're these, they're the ones that are influencing the worst out of people, And so, anyway, I was going on about that to, like, a 3-year-old kid. And then yesterday I popped in on the show, and then I heard you talk about Hercules. And then I was like, oh, man. And then I got distracted, and I couldn't really hear the whole entire thing. So I just want to know if you can sort of go back to it.
Sure.
If you remember.
It's all just a coincidence, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
that's my Irish sarcasm. Yeah, just a coincidence. What are the odds? 100%, because everything's perfect.
Right.
Okay, Hercules. Yeah. The proper spelling of Hercules is Heracles, or as I like to say, Heracles. Clay in French is key, right? So, of course, let's take key, and we can bust that one out into so many different areas. Key is the Greek letter that looks like our X, which is the Roman numeral 10, which is Io, the goddess, Greek goddess, early goddess of creation. And it goes on from there. But the Hera, and of course, what was Hercules trying to be? A hero, right? Hero. Now, he is a feminine, and Hera is the wife of Zeus. Who was Hercules?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, right. So the key, Hercules or Heracles to me is the keys of Hera, or the keys of the magnetic, the Divine Mother. And this is how I look at things. And of course, Hercules had to be the 13th warrior because he had 12 labors or 12 disciples that he had to learn. You know, of course, it's not shown in the cartoon, but I got to say that it's funny because I watched that about a week and a half ago, the Hercules cartoon, and I got to tell you, from the first time I saw it when it came out to when I watched it a week and a half ago, that was not even close to the same movie I remember. You know, because it does. It just jumps out at you left, right, and center. Now, Hades, here we go. What is Hades? Well, Hades is Hades or Hades. Isis, right, in a past tense, and that's the as below, and this is where we have these experiences of the physical, because you cannot get the game of trauma or emotions or anything as a spiritual aspect. You cannot. We're perfect, and we don't experience. We can have the thought of pain or whatever. So this is why we have this game, to actually, wow, that's a neat theory, myself. Let's do that and see how that feels. So there are countless points of consciousness, and we're all one consciousness. This is why people have got to stop looking at everyone outside of them as, oh, look what they did to so-and-so, and oh my God. You know, we've played that game. Well, that was another point of my consciousness. It's like that experienced that. Of course, I experienced it as a result. So, am I going to get dramatically involved in it? Oh, I'm still going to play the game to a certain level, but I'm playing it on my terms now. It's quite different. You're still playing the game, but it's on your terms. It's like I was saying to Frank earlier about the passport. Yeah, if you have to do what you have to do, it's about having the intent to shred away everything possible where you're at that 0 point of doing everything you need to do to get through the game. And as I said to Frank, listen, the system's coming down, all the borders are going to be dropping. That's my timeline. I've already said that. Now for Hercules, the pillars of Hercules. Look, actually go through all the labors. The last one of Hercules' labors was he had to tame Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guarded the gates of Hades, the gates of hell. Now, that same dog has to be tamed on the way in and on the way out. It guards the door, both sides. So if it was Cerberus that got us in there, right? So it's going to be Cerberus that gets us out, and we have to get past it. And that's it. That's for me. That was when I went through all the labors. Thought, oh, this is great. One of them is cleaning out the stables. What was the city? I think it was the stables of Olympus and Aegean, yeah, and he rerouted the river, that's water, truth, to wash and clear his Aries ram, to clear his ram drive. So these are all allegories. When you start reading them from an allegorical viewpoint, as they apply to you and as they apply to truth and the cleansing of self to get back to that purity of the Christ consciousness, they take on a whole new game, a whole new dimension. And, you know, what Santo had said earlier about, I cannot even think in terms of physical anymore. I can't.
Yep.
It's gone. It's over.
I know.
It's gone. It's done.
It's an old paradigm, you know. There's a different kind of thinking. It's called knowing, you know. And the Cerberus is the dog. The dog is the canine. The canine is where the lamb is. You'll always find the wolf there next to the lamb. It's Aries. It's the cerebrum, the Cerberus. And so you tame it. You start in Aries. You go down the ecliptic, and you end up back in Aries. In the ram, Abraham, the Lamb of God, in heaven, head, where you're supposed to be in the first place. That's what the story of Hercules is. The hero departs from Aries, Hiram, the hero, Heracles, off on the ecliptic. He tames the lamb first, the Cerberus first, his cerebrum, and then he does his 12 labours, and he becomes the 13th hero in the cerebrum. That's what we all need to. Well, that's what we all are doing, have done, and are being.
Amazing. That's absolutely delicious. I love it.
Isn't truth yummy?
Yeah, I love this. Now I'm eager to like find Hercules on the net and just watch it and just start like, just pulling everything out again.
Yeah. Icefilms.info, free download. Just go to the alphabetical, and the one I use the most is 180 upload and billion uploads. They're the easiest ones to download with pop-ups. There's only 2 pop-ups for each, and they close pretty quick. You can close them, and it just takes you right to the movie. Icefilms.info, and go to the movies, and then click on the alphabetical, hit H, and scroll down, and it's there. That's where I got it. It's online.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, no worries.
And you guys are great. Thank you so much. I've been listening to you guys for a while. I've been listening to Santo for a really long time, since pretty much the beginning of my awakening about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. So anyway, big thanks to you guys. I love you, and you guys are amazing. So
right back at you. I got to do the shout out right now. We got just over 5 minutes before we roll over. Whew, almost missed this one. Anyway, for those that want to join the table for the rollover, it's 614-467-2401, and of course you can refresh the page on Blog Talk if you're listening there. For the Skype button, click that. That'll bring you to the board. And once the board, if you want to jump in, just hit 1 on your dial pad. Open the dial pad on Skype, hit 1 there. That'll bring you in as well. Great big thank you to Paul Giovanni and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.k. And I think there was 7 or 8 subscribers that showed up last night. I guess that 1, 2, and 3 pound option really, really, really worked. Thank you guys. It's like I said last night. You can't afford a pound, $1.65 a month. Woo! Exactly what kind of truth are you looking for? Okay. Yeah. Anyway, it's all good. So thank you guys for that. And got a bit of an echo there. Anyway, we're going to roll over in about just over 4 minutes. So we'd love to have you at the table. And anything you guys can do to support Critical Mass, thank you very much. And 541 keeps dropping off the call here, opens their mic, and then their mic, I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, I just saw that 541. All right, so take her away, Santo. Table's yours.
Voodoo, you ever heard of Santa Rita, motherfucker?
Sorry, your nipples are what?
I'll send some dark energy right up your fucking ass.
Oh, would you? Oh, hey, listen, welcome to the table. We've been waiting for you. How much you getting paid, by the way, for your soul? That much, eh? I love these people. Oh, I wouldn't want to be that soul. Bye-bye. Have a nice life. See, those are the points of consciousness. I just want to... Oh, look, I just erased it. There it goes. Anyway, yeah. Gone, just like that.
Gone. That's like a fart in the wind. That's what it was. Useless. These are people who are nasty with real intent to be nasty and to give nasty energies to other entities. I'm sometimes, I'm nasty, but I do that with fully charged with love. I mean, just to make people wake up to their senses. This guy knows that we are awakened to our senses, and yet
still
is prepared to someone or to be nasty to someone who has awakened from their senses. This is the reverse. This is the reverse of what he thinks we are doing. You see, this is our creepy.
Don't give it any more energy, Santo. That's good. We just eliminate it. And I got to say though, he didn't say much. I didn't remove him right away. I waited to see if he would respond to what I said, and there was no response. I said,
"There's no response because it's fart wind."
See, here's the confirmation that we're doing something right. Yay! Thank you for the confirmation and gratitude. That's 1. And 2, what I said to him struck home, and it silenced him. Because it's given with love. I wouldn't want to be him. Wouldn't want to be you. You just came. Did you miss the show where I put that energy out there? It's still there. Ooh, please don't do that to yourself. It's suicide, spiritual suicide. That's why, that's why it's free will choice. If people want to do that, please, if you want to, by all means. But you just committed spiritual suicide. But your point of consciousness is gone.
You can't just go farting like that and expect not to sniff your own farts eventually. So he's going to cop it, isn't he?
Well, the consciousness is going to free. That's a part of consciousness that I just eliminate. It's all good. Anyway, so let's get back to the light. This is way more fun. Hercules, what a great allegory, though. Because there's your 13th warrior, just like just like Jesus, just like Muhammad, just like the rest of them. Right? It's the same story, told with different characters and different variations of the same concept. The same with God. So it's all good. It's beautiful.
Hercules is right next to Ophiuchus. In fact, he is on top of Ophiuchus, if I'm not wrong. So those two heroes, they're both deacons of Scorpio. Scorpio is the generative system. What does generate mean? Well, it means to create, reproduce, and give genes to, gen. And so those two heroes, Ophiuchus and Hercules, what they're doing is they are beginning their journey on the ecliptic down at the bottom testament, the testicles in the male. And what they want to do is go up to Orion, who, is right there in the middle of Aries and Taurus, the optic thalamus. And this is basically the length of the cerebrospinal system that we're dealing with. Hercules is down there in the generative. Once you return the oil, the light, it's called, it's called the manna, it's called the oil, the salt, the bread, the Lord, the fish, etc., etc. Once that returns, it returns to Orion. You see, so Ophiuchus and Orion, or Hercules and Orion, take your pick out of the two, both down there in Scorpio. They are ruled by a generative center. It's a very, very powerful sign, Scorpio, the eighth sign, because it's the eighth part of the astrological body part consigned to the generative system. And Scorpio is profound, deep waters of generation. Mars is the ruler of Scorpio, and Mars is the ruler of Aries, where Hercules and Ophiuchus are destined to arrive. First stop is at Orion in the optic thalamus, and then they proceed up to Perseus in the deacon of Aries. Perseus slays Demeter's head, the medulla oblongata, the reptilian stem of our brain, and basically he is then midbrain, which is the optic thalamus, the midbrain area. This is the mammalian, the so-called mammalian part. So that's where Orion is. So Perseus is up there, the light bearer, Proteus, Prometheus, Perseus, it's all the same archetype. At the top of the head, in Aries, seeing Medusa, which is all of the lower nature. So this is why Ophiuchus and Hercules, the hero, with the keys to the kingdom, and of course Petra the rock is the sacrum, the rock at the bottom of the spinal cord, the 5 fused zones above the coccyx, and that's what the keys of Hercules are, the keys of Peter. It's the keys. There's only one key that the lawyers have thrown away. Woe to those lawyers, and that's the key of ascension and returning that oil from Hercules to Orion, and then Orion hands over to his brother Perseus. All these heroes are there. They're all there on the ecliptic to teach us. They are the Jesus coming, the second coming. They are the U tree, the Jew that keeps coming on the ecliptic. All the coming that you hear about in the scriptures, it's all about the ecliptic. First the ecliptic, and then how it translates to the biological, the microcosm. And look, these things are so simple. It just irritates me that
you too,
some people refuse to grasp it. It's just like, what is mumbo? Is this your own? These opinions of yours? They're really interesting, Santos. And off they go. And it irritates me that exists. This is why I'm pretty much a hermit now. The only thing I do is go outdoors to go to the park with my dog, and then I'm back inside.
Yeah,
because
literal conversations, they really drive me batty. I can take it for maybe 10 or 20 seconds, and then it's like, okay, can we talk about something now? It really is like that. So yeah, and no harm, no foul. It's just. Again, I take full responsibility for where I'm at, and it's just the way it is. And this was I was meant to walk. I know that because it feels and thinks exactly the way it needs to, and I'm good. I got to tell you, it's kind of weird for Gemini with this seemingly antisocial streak. It's not antisocial at all. It's just I'll wait until we get into the conversations that are really worth having to end. You see, I don't want to get caught up in the psychobabble here anymore because it's just meaningless psychobabble, and it is totally distracting me from my path to get to the point where we're all not talking psychobabble and we're actually, flying and teleporting all by ourselves and creating worlds and having fun. That to me is a lot more fun. So, I just see all the psychobabble as, please, are you running interference? This is boring, okay? But that's good in that it is boring, and that just sets even bigger fires for my desire to not be bored anymore. I'm bored out of my fucking skull. For lack of better terms. I really am, literally. It's funny, but whatever. So I get it, and you're right, it is. If there's something of the fluffy left, it's just that irritation, and I've got to get past that and go, it's okay. Because that's just an energy. As soon as I feel something like that, then I have to, oh, great. Now I've got to diffuse that, because that's the resistance within. That's the Om. We don't want to be resistance, okay? We want to be, generators. We want to be capacitors for that energy, the Ka, Pi, Sa, Tors, say Tors, right? The spirit of the Pi, which creation, 3.141, 142.857, etc. Ka, Pa, Say, creation itself, Taurus fields, Taurus, That's what we need to be. So for me, any sense of resistance I feel for anything at all, I very quickly diffuse it. That's why, entities like that showed up. The first thing out of my face is going to be a smart ass remark, because that's just my nature. That's my age. I was like that on stage. Somebody would say something, I'd be very quick with something, and get a giggle out of the room, and shuts everybody up. Not that I had much of that to deal with, but it's a handy tool. And I'm not going to be derailed. Sorry, I'm not even sorry. This locomotive is running full speed ahead. You're going to need a whole lot more than Hercules to knock that puppy off. Party on. I'm here to play.
Yeah, the literal is blinding people from who they really are, and who really are they? Well, your body is your anatomy. If you look at the word anatomy, you'll find the word atom hiding right there, because it is made up of atoms. So it's your anatomy. And those atoms are atom, the hidden one, because they're hidden.
Yeah, an atom, me. An atom, me. Perfect. Great word, Santo. Thank you. That's a beaut.
Yeah, well, basically, it's also meaning, according to Lawrence William Lyons here, on page 16, it also means not atomy, anatomy. So not atomy. So really, it's we've got this body that is an atomy. It's not atomy. Or it's actually
not atomy and anatomy. The duality, exactly. Mirror, equal and opposite.
Exactly. So once we realize that this, the word life hides the word fire in it, because R and L are interchangeable in every language under the sun. this is where dyslexia occurs. It usually occurs, according to this guy in the language crystal, he says, because he studied dyslexic people, and they gave him the greatest blessing he ever could learn, and that is that R and L are interchangeable and always have been, right and left.
Why do you think in courts they want to file everything? File. Sacred golden mean of creation, L.
That's right. That's right. So life, which comes from fire, the great generator, nitrogen, nitrogenerator, is really just fire. So if we realize that our anatomy, our atoms, which are a galaxy, a universe, are fire, life, same word, then we can just go around as a ball of fire rather than as a blob of earth, which has a name attached to it, got numbers, CUSIP numbers and SIN numbers, etc., TIN numbers. Oh God, you got a whole heap of numbers.
Hey, how about this? How about a K cell or a Ka say Phi L? Ka spirit say creation, Phi the physical sacred geometric creation, and L. Do you really want to have a Ka say Phi L with the crown, the dead crone, that takes all of your cause away, makes you silent? Remember, you can't be heard in court because you don't have any cause, because your crow is crowing from another table. You know what I'm going to do, Santo? I'm going to take as many legal terms as I can, and I'm going to bust them up to show what people are doing when they play with the whore of Babylon, what they're giving up spiritually. Because that's all that's happening, and it's a beautiful Phoenician game. And do you want to learn to play the game, or you want to be at effect to it? Do you want to be cause, your own mind, crone, or do you want to be at effect to it?
Right, because as you say, it's a phonetics game, photon. It's a light game, and light vibrates. Electric light polarized, it vibrates, hence it's got its negative side, but you must look for the positive, because then you're not playing the game. And most people are just focused on one half. Yeah.
Photon ions, phonetions. You can spell it with a T or a C or an S. It doesn't matter. Remember, no rules. You can put whatever in there, because if you have a word like association with T-I-O-N, then Phoenician, which is C-I-A-N, can be T-I-A-N. So it's still the same sound that you can create with it. Remember, you can take any sound within any sound. If it works in one word in one language, it works in all words in all languages. That's why another word I'd pop in there, awaken the Kraken. Right? Ken, well, craw, co-craw, right? Or crow crawing, right? And ken, in Scottish terminology, what do you ken, right? Or you dinna ken that. You don't know that. Ken means to know. So Kraken, awaken the ability to be cause and know it. So that's what, there's release the Kraken, will you? I might have wrote an essay about that as well. Yeah. It's getting funnier.
Well, when you walk into your knowing and you walk in asking questions as king, as the witness, what did the crown do to you? They want to act in your stead. As above, so below. Well, there must be another court, isn't there? A common law court?
Well, as soon as you are the witness, you invoke that immediately. That's why they want to get you out.
Absolutely. So what does the crown do? They go and they bring in a justice. So you should go to the clerk and invoke your right to have a magistrate for your court.
Well, better yet, why don't you
your own case?
Well, hey, hang on, Art. While you're in that, if you're in that situation as a witness, and say, well, listen, seeing as I'm the living witness, this is now hereby a common law court. And at that point, if you want to play the game, accept all their oaths of office, and then start commanding.
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to, because you're God. Get over it.
Exactly. As a creator, I can create my own case, which is a higher case than the crown could ever have. They can't bring the statutes into my case, but they have to defend it as the man.
You render them all dead, and then you can appoint them if you want.
Absolutely. Appoint me a magistrate for my court.
Now.
And I want this magistrate to understand that he is learned in law. Not legal, law. Because as a creator, law is what I state, the oral, the spoken word. All law is auditory.
Yep.
Legal exists on paper. So when you walk in as the witness, you are God, you command, you place an order. I order a magistrate for my court. Someone has defrauded me through the birth certificate. I am witness to this. Beautiful. I was just doing an allegory with electricity saying, what are they barring us from doing is creating our own court, a higher court. We have to create it. We can't have them create it for us, like you said, because there's nobody there for our cause. Be the cause.
Yeah,
I have cause of action. I have been harmed and injured.
And remember what Joe said about what the crow is. Joe, I want to check see if Joe's still there. I think she is. Joe, you still there?
Just got back. Actually, walked away for a minute.
There you go. Could you do me the honor of reading out the crow again, please?
Yep, sure can.
Thanks. Since we're all speaking about becoming our own cause and wearing our own crown.
Okay. Crow is the omen of change. Crow lives in the void and has no sense of time. The ancient chiefs tell us that Crow sees simultaneously the three fates, past, present, and future. Crow merges light and darkness, seeing both inner and outer reality. If Crow medicine appears in your card spread, you must pause and reflect on how you see the laws of the Great Spirit in relation to the laws of humanity. Crow medicine signifies a first-hand knowledge of a higher order of right and wrong than that indicated by the laws created in human culture. With Crow medicine, you speak in a powerful voice when addressing issues that for you seem out of harmony, out of balance, out of whack, or unjust. As you learn to allow your personal integrity to be your guide, your sense of feeling alone will vanish. Your personal will can then emerge so that you will stand in your truth. The prime path of true Crow people says to be mindful of your opinions and actions. Be willing to walk your talk, speak your truth, know your life's mission, and balance past, present, and future in the now. Shift the old reality and become your future self. Allow the bending of physical laws to aid in creating the shape-shifted world of peace. Aho.
Works for me.
Beautiful.
Even
really
more now.
Powerful.
And I've got a set of Celtic cards here. I think I've used them once, and I just thought I'm going to do a full Celtic spread, or Celtic. There's that salt thing again, Santo. The Celt IC, the Celtic. Say, creation of himself, herself, itself. L. A little bit of intent action culminating in the manifestation. Absolutely. There's Saturn, making it all manifest. And then you have T, the note of love, and of course I with unconditional love, the C, the I and the C, right? So you got to be the middle C. You got to bring that left-right, that magnetic electric together. See, when I see the word us, I also see magnetic electric. It's in the mirror, electric magnetic. U being electric, S being magnetic, right? The serpent, the divine feminine Kundalini aspect. So, and of course, USA, A is the hex reversed, right? So it's being held in place that way. So there are no coincidences at all. And this is the other thing that people have such a hard time dealing with, that when you fully trust your game in the now, that everything you do matters right now. It's only up to you to have the eyes and ears to see it as it applies to you. And when you're staring outside of yourself at all the beautiful ladies in the red dresses and all the rest of the distractions and the psychobabble, trying to keep the drama going, and somehow it's fun, and yeah, that's great. That's a very wonderful game, very low level, and this is why I just don't have. I don't have the energy for it anymore. This is one of the reasons why this table for me is so potent, because here we are. Is everyone here having fun?
Absolutely.
I'm having a blast.
Love it.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
There's the fuck yeah.
There we go, right? Okay, so this is the game I love to play because what we're doing is uncovering the reality and dispelling all of the garbage while everyone else is out there watching reruns of Gilligan's Island and giggling like idiots, They're missing the allegories, right? When you start seeing the allegories and everything, the aha moments just don't stop. They just don't. And all you're doing with each and every aha is you're actually adding that to the consciousness, awakening the rest of humanity, because that's you're God, you're the only consciousness you know of. Of course you're God. I know you are, because that's the only, I know the same thing. I am you and you are me. So I'm just, like I said, we're all superstars in each other's movie. And all I'm asking people to do is play the role of a lifetime. I want the superstars, I mean, I'd like to think that I'm doing my job of getting out there to be in a more starring role in your movie, where you get to direct and be the star in your version of it, where I'm just an actor, right? Because I'm part of your movie. Do you see what you've created? This is why all things are yours.
It's cool.
In Australia, we had a commentator 20, 30 years ago who did the crow call on telly, and in Australia, it's when we hear a crow call, it's fuck, fuck. So whenever you say your crow call, I can't not think of fuck. It goes with it.
Perfect. There you go. And there's another reason why they would have made that into a curse word, which it's not. Everything, it's a cures word, right? And that's the other thing too. People just need to lose the charge on. See, look at how entrained and indoctrinated we are into what a word means. If you want a real understanding of that word, then listen to Osho. Chris played it again on Sunday. I laugh every time I hear this guy. How the fuck are you doing? Like, seriously, the guy just nails it. He goes through it, and he takes all of that negative energy out of it and puts a giggle back in where it belongs, because it's pure truth. It's how are you looking at it? If you've got a charge on it, if something affects you, that's ego, that's program, that's emotional, that is some piece of shit inside of you that you need to go, oh, I better look at that, because if I had a reaction to it, there's still something that's programmed and running that I need to go erase. And once you find it, and it's not hard to do, you just have to be willing to go, wait a minute, I had a reaction to that. That's ego. I need to get rid of that. And that's the only way you're going to clear yourself to the point of Christ consciousness, right? And we're all still reaching for it and getting there step by step every day, because the intent to get there is there. And that's where my lateral timeline sits. And I just keep sliding and sliding. And just here, let me read you the opening card and the last card, because the opening is as it refers to me, and of course I'm you, right? That's what I thought too. All right, so this is as it applies to me and the allness of you all together culminated. And I won't go through the rest of it, because I can kind of look at it and go, isn't that interesting? But the main card, the significator, there's that sign again, is the first card. And what do we got? The 7, 8, 9. The 10th card, the Io, the creation card. Why didn't I have that in my head? But anyway, here the card that got turned over for the significator is the Nine of Cups. And I'm thinking, oh, look at that, the consciousness of emotion, love, right? The key words of the card are much happiness, success, accomplishment. So here's how your game is going. Are you ready? Upright, which I only deal in upright, because if something is meant to be negative, it'll show up in a card. I don't need to have any other rules than that. I accept things as they are. Often called the wish card, the Nine of Cups suggests fulfillment, having overcome difficulties. Your efforts will be rewarded. It indicates the celebration of a relationship or a feeling of emotional contentment within a relationship, honest love gained through a deep commitment between two people. You may find yourself receiving a lot of positive attention, feeling and being appreciated by others. I'm sure you are. Now, the story of the card is this. Caolin was a local deity and the guardian or queen of a magical well in County Roscommon in the west of Ireland. She was known for her gift of granting wishes. Often she granted these wishes to people in order to show them that they did not really want or need things they wished for. One story tells of the time when Caroline met a young man who was smitten by her beauty. He spoke in rapturous tones of the whiteness of her skin, the blackness of her hair, which nearly reached the ground, and the blueness of her eyes, which were the color of cornflowers. He wished that his beloved had these eyes, which were full of light and magic. Without a word, Caroline plucked them out, and, with warm blood dripping from them, threw her beautiful eyes at the stunned young man. "Be careful what you wish for," she told him, "for you may just get it." And the outcome card, the final card, is one of my favorite cards in the deck, if not the favorite. Death. I love that. It's a 13 card, by the way. Is that a coincidence? To me, this is the Christ consciousness card. Death.
Well, death is the doorway to the ether.
Yeah.
You know, it's D delta doorway to S. And, you know, we came from ether, we incarnated. We die in incarnation, and we go back to ether, death.
Well, here we go.
Yeah.
Real quick one on this one. You're absolutely right. This is why I love this card. It is a transformational. It means change of the most magnificent order. It is time to let go of the old and look forward. 13th card of the major arcana, and the key words are change, end of a cycle, and fear of loss. The death card represents the end of an era or phase in your life. It does not indicate physical death. The death card tells you that the end of a cycle is now taking place. It may be a relationship, the end of a career position, or an emotional cycle. It is time to mourn your losses, be happy with your memories, and allow yourself to move forward in peace. Change is often a blessing in disguise. Well, change is a blessing. For me, it always is. Now, there should be one other little bit to it. The story of the card. Bad B is how it's spelled. It's Bad B. Yeah, Bad Christ indeed. Bad B, the crone aspect of the triple goddess, is associated with death or destruction. She is often linked with the otherworld Banshee, as her wail warns of the death of someone close. She is also associated with battle and sometimes ran wild as a wolf among the fighting warriors. She is believed to preside over the boiling otherworld, cauldron of death and rebirth, where she decides the fate of those who live and those who die. It is also believed that Bad would cause the end of the world by letting the boiling cauldron overflow, flooding the earth and turning it into a wasteland. However, death brings rebirth, and in the card we see 4 significant issues represented. The image of the person in the card represents you looking backwards, paying homage to the past, the good and the bad times which have to be mourned for, but then left behind. The present environment is somewhat bleak and unproductive. We also see the river that must be crossed. On the other side of the river there are green pastures and a bright sun rising over the horizon, representing rebirth, the future, optimism, growth, and development. It is time to deal with outstanding issues, emotions, and baggage. You cannot move forward if you spend all your time standing still and looking back. The river represents the watershed, the letting go, which will give you the freedom to move forward unburdened by the past or by your pain, loss, or hurts. There you go. And onward we go, that steaming locomotive. Nothing stops this train. All aboard. That wants aboard.
It's the bark of Ra.
Yeah.
That's the train. It's always depicted on the ecliptic. You can take it for Ursa Major, the Big Dipper. You can take it for Argos in Cancer, the big boat, Noah's Ark. There it is. I see it every day. I look up. There's Canopus, the second brightest star in the sail, right above my head. And it's the bark, the arc of the ecliptic. It's the arc science, the arch science, astrology. And this is why Egyptians were depicted with the crux ansata, or the ankh, because they knew their angles and they knew the arc, the science of arc seconds, minutes, arc seconds, and degrees. And so they were well versed in this science. And if you're looking for that boat that we're on, it is the ecliptic. And if you begin to notice fractally that the ecliptic is everywhere, holographically, all over the place, what you are is what the universe is. Man is the measure of the universe. And so, we are just fractals of that beautiful thought wave universe. And we're on the bark. The bark is Argos, and Argos is argon, which carries two elements, nitrogen and oxygen, which we breathe, called air. The three of them are the Trinity. And as I've said, nitrogen is the Lamb of God, Aries, nitrogen, Agnes, and oxygen is the bull and it's the ox, the toroidal field, Taurus, oxygen, the ox. And so the lamb and the bull, Aries and Taurus, the cerebrum and the cerebellum, the cerebram and the cerebellum, Cain and Abel, the lamb and the goat, the sheep and not the goat, the sheep and the cattle, or the sheeple and the chattel, take your pick. In everything there is a mirror, and all is one, and this is how, when you polarize the one, you begin to see the two, and the two reflect the one. And so the lower-brained brothers that are still not woken, they only see one side of the mirror. They're not smart enough to realize that there's the other side, you see, and of the coin. And so, they take, one at face value. They take just the one as its face, as its head. And the same applies with a coin. You look at its head, you don't look at its tail. You see the head that's stamped on there. That'll probably be Queen Elizabeth, of course, the most stamped head in the universe. But some people only see that, and they don't realize that polarity, or what they call duality, is a trap. And only in the study of words, as I've just read before, can we resemble or redeem, replace, remember, the whole thing that we forgot when we drank from the cup of intoxication. And so that's why many of the philosophers have said that some drink more from that cup. So we need to be, it's good to be wary of that and conscious of that many drank a whole bunch of that cup. In fact, that's what Nephilim means. They are the ones that are coming down into incarnation, going to hell, and Elohim are the ones going up on Jacob's ladder. There's a continual flow of energies going up and down that ladder. So as we see our brothers smashing their way down into incarnation, because the sons of God, they saw that the daughters of men were good looking, and so they came and took whomever they wanted. The Nephilim, that's what it means, you see. It's the spirit that sees the beautiful soul in the electrical world and how gorgeous it is, and it falls in love with the daughters of men. The daughters of men basically means matter. You see, matter is the daughter, the child of spirit, because it's mind over matter. And so, of course, like all the the ones that fell in love with themselves before, you look into the mirror and there it is. Narcissus saw himself and thought, oh boy, aren't I gorgeous? Well, this is what we've done. We've all gone through this gorgeous stage where we thought, we were pretty sexy, and, engaged in all sorts of fornication, commercial fornication, spiritual fornication in churches, and physical fornication in, very unhealthy sexual practices. And we've all done that because we weren't trained or taught that at the age of 12, if we were able to, when puberty begins, when we're able to conserve that seed that is born in our solar plexus monthly when the moon is in the sun sign of the individual. If we conserved each one of those, we would live forever if we did it properly. If we wanted to, we could live forever. But no one told us that, and they said, go and watch MTV. There's a whole bunch of sexy chicks on there, half naked, and see if you can get yourself one of those and have some fun and be free and squander your seed. Well, the moment you do that, that's what's called physical fornication, loose conduct. But we've participated in it all. We've been killers and connivers in the past. We had to be, because it's all a oneness. And we all participated, and now we're all going to participate in bliss, returning the bliss, simply by putting the words in the mirror and showing people that the one is the other. Therefore, duality doesn't exist, and polarized light comes from one. So lumen comes from lux. So we don't need a noumen, nomen, name at all.
Yeah, it's isn't it amazing how quickly it turns full circle on itself, and as it should, because this is for me the whole expose of Phoenician law, which is the note just below love, has been beyond profound, and it is laying waste to so many illusions. And that's all, for me, that's all I'm trying to do every single night, is dispel the illusions to give people a different perspective of, well, yeah, that word, you can say it that way. Have you ever looked at it this way? And I got to tell you, it doesn't take many of those for anyone, I don't care where you're at in this game, to start to catch on. And if you want, I mean, it's going to be your choice if you want to see the magic, or if you're quite happy playing in Psychobabble Babylon, that's okay too. I mean, that's all points of me that need to experience that, and I won't trespass on that free will choice of that other point of consciousness. If they want to be erased from the consciousness, then that's their choice. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. They want to continue on the linear lines and keep running this cycle over and over until they get it. Great. Then that I'm not going to interfere with that. I'm not going to trespass on that point of consciousness's experience, because that's something that matters for all of consciousness. So why would I do that? This is why I keep going back to the movie The Book of Eli. Denzel Washington's character said it very clearly, and it was most profound for me. It's not your concern, stay the course. It's not your concern, stay the course. And how many times do we catch ourselves talking about other people and interactions and what we think of them and how we react to them and how good they are or how fucking stupid they are or whatever the case may be? That's the psychobabble of Babylon. And that's keeping people. This is why for me I had to eliminate all these things. And if people want to play tit for tat with me, I'm sure I can probably ante up a few things that'll put any victim mentality to shame. But that's not my job. Can I show you the contrast? I'd love to. Can you get it? Well, that's your call. It's not mine. You see, I'm not here to hold anybody's hand. I'm here to walk the line. I am the Pontius Pilate and the Christ. I am the Christ walking, and I'm also the Pontius Pilate, wiping my hands of any form of judgment. And you need to be both of these characters at the same time, both positive and negative on both sides. There is your quad. So please, it's like the gentleman that showed up earlier. I mean, I look at that and I go, oh well, there's another point gone. I think I made it quite clear that you come up against the truth, then you have made a very aware choice. And I think it was a couple of weeks ago I brought that up to let the shills know. I have no malice for them. If they come attacking with malice, then you're going to get what you wish for. It's going to be bounced right back in my white solar Mayan mirror. And may you get everything you wish for, just like Kaylaine, the Nine of Cups, said. Be careful what you wish for. You know, if thine eyes offend thee, then definitely you got to pluck them out. And just to remind people, that's not a literal thing. That is, if there's something you're doing that keeps you in a state of fear or is harming you or harming others, stop doing it. It's really simple. The only problem in this universe that you have is you. Everything else outside is looking for the ego is looking for justifiers to maintain that headspace. Can you be controlled by the demons, or can you finally get a grip on them? And don't worry, I assure you, if you don't get a grip on the demons this lifetime, you're going to come back with a different zodiac program to show you what you need to fix. If you got conflicts this time and you don't fix them, you're going to keep coming back until you do. You cannot advance to the next level until you solve you. This is what this table is all about. Do you have the cojones to face yourself and all of your bullshit? That's all it takes. And the vast majority, well, I won't say vast anymore, but it's still a majority of people that cannot. Those are irrelevant to me, not my concern. I stay my path, because as I move laterally on the timeline, I'm going to get a new and improved version of every point of consciousness as I go. And eventually all the points of consciousness that are not resonating with what I'm doing and what we're all doing collectively here, they're just going to fall. That's where they get eliminated from the consciousness. This is a spiritual game, and you better learn to start playing it, because that truth that you will not stand in becomes a very, very real physical manifestation. So for me, those that are attacking me have just wished upon themselves getting wiped out from my lateral timeline. And I will not go into a spiritual contract with anyone at all, especially psychobabblers. I would just simply go, nope. I'm saying this in my head all the time. No. So I'm very mindful of that, because I am my own cause. I wear my own crown, my own crow mine. That's it. And the crow is a representation of the void, the deep void, the seer of all three fates. If you think for 1 minute I'm going to get into an agreement with somebody, emotionally or otherwise, think again. No, I'm a whole lot more careful with that. We've played that game. We've moved along. We've seen the damage that we could do to ourselves through the crown, the dead fiction crown. And if people want to continue on playing that game, knock yourself out, because I guarantee you the universe will, and you won't like it. How many times do you need to get beaten up? How many times do you need to cry the victim? How many times do you need to be enraged before you finally grow up, take your diapers off, take your thumb out of your fucking mouth, grow up, and start acting like the gods you are? Like I said, if people want to talk legal in my chat rooms, don't worry. I'll make sure that you get put into the playpen with the rest of the legal children, because you don't know who you are. All things legal, statute, act, name, legislation, everything is dead. If you want to play in that playpen, what are you saying? You're saying that you are dead. Step over to the side of the witness, one who knows. One who can actually look in the mirror and say, you know what, I've done some pretty stupid things in my day. I've gotten angry at some people, and I've done it because I needed to have a justifier as to why I am so much better than them. And that is pure fucking ego. It will kill you. It will destroy you. And I assure you, as I move across my timeline, I do expect a fair amount of drop-offs. I'm talking in the physical. Right? This is why I will not get into contract with anyone. No, I have my own spiritual contracts. I deal with me because I am God. I am the one. You are the one too. So these are things that you may want to resonate with or not. It's up to you. And start to figure yourself out. Because until you do, sorry, you're fucking doomed. And I'm okay with that, because the doomed or the judged parts of my consciousness that cannot wake up are the ones I do not wish to have in my reality. I will not have a spiritual contract with them. And here's the joy of consciousness. It's not a meat stick. It's just a thought. And it is the thought that counts, isn't it? Mini rant over.
Every time you say the word dead, I hear as well as debt. You are the debt. You are the dead. It's the same phonetically. I know you said it many times. It will be, in saying the two, creates the consciousness of people to recognize commas is just dead. We know this. It reinforces it from the ego's desire to want to try and hang on to what they have, but everything they've contracted into is being dead and debt. So there is nothing else. Two of them phonetically perfectly sounding the same.
Yep, and look at the word debit or of bit. Yeah, you got a bit in your mouth and you're being steered around like the horrors that you are. It's just a coincidence.
Yeah, look, you'll never escape finding clues in words because it's a language crystal. It's and in fact, as the great Linda Goodman says about the English language, that only with the English language can you do this. This is what Lawrence William Lyons says too in the Language Crystal book. He says only in English, and then in parentheses he says language of angles, can this puzzle be resolved. We are the lucky ones, guys. Look, I just did 2 hours of syncretism today with the Italians and, sovereignty and stuff like that. And I'm having fun as I am in English with, tying words together. And it's there in Latin. Oh, yeah, it's absolutely in Latin and Italian and Spanish and Portuguese and French. And I see it in all the languages that I know. And but there's nothing like English, folks. We are the lucky ones. We have the language of angles. But as long as we differentiate it between legalese and English, there's two that are spoken. The literalists are speaking legalese. Rest assured, they are bound by it, and they are bound by its meaning in their feeble minds, and they are going to be punished by that false illusion that they are under. So, this is why the allegory and the anagogic is so important, because there is always something more magnificent in the languages that we can actually change and alter ourselves with our own vibration so that the words take on new meanings, because that's what it means, the intent that we put in them.
That's why we had to dispel the original spell, someone else's intent of Phoenicians, to make them our own. So that's where we become the purple people, when we put our own crowns back on, our own Saturns, our own seventh chakra, God's chakra, which is purple. It means we've brought the red and the blue into full, utter balance, where when they merge, that's the color they create. So you can stay divided and conquered. You can be angry and emotional, sobby, and all the rest of the silly emotions that we've all been through. And that's not to say that you cannot experience them. You can. But you're going to experience them on your terms, because if something, like you're watching a movie and it makes you laugh, of course, great. If something makes you angry, great. It's all good. But here's the difference. You can walk into a movie now, or anything for that matter, anything at all, and know exactly that you are in complete control of your emotions, and now you're just going to experience them, not be at effect to them. There's a big difference. When you are experiencing something, that's a willful act of cause. You know what? I'm going to let myself go to enjoy this or to experience this. And then when it's over, oh, okay, great. That was awesome. And you're not at effect to it. It's not getting a grip on you. You're not playing in the Roman game of bread and circuses, okay? And that's the difference. This is when you really stand on your own, when you can stand on your own. There's nothing wrong with having emotions. This is the whole point of the game, to experience that. What is important is that you get the control back, so that something is not going to keep eating away at you and eating away at you and eating away at you, that every time somebody brings something up, you get all fucking dicey about it. Because it's still holding you. Can you let it go? I've had many things, still have a few. I've had many things that were literally eating away at me until I got to this point. And what a point it is for me. It's like, wow. It's when you can be at peace with something. It's when you can go out and if you want to yell your head off, you're not putting that energy out. You're just being the actor that we're all here, the AC torus, the actor, the alternating current of the toroidal field. That's the intermingling of the Ouroboros. The two snakes are working together, the masculine and feminine, the magnetic electric, right? And you have control on it. You can turn that on and off at will now, instead of it just being a wild ride and you're going completely out of control. And we are dealing in a consciousness now that is rising exponentially by the instant. because what we're doing now is we're all pushing on that same lateral timeline to get to that final blissful thing that we know is there. It always was. We just had to choose to say, okay, I've had enough of this. I'm bored out of my skull. I get it. Let's move it this way. I accept all things. Got it. I've had to experience it. Great. If that gets me there, perfect. I'm good, right? And that's it. That's when you accept all things for a reason. It's only up to us to see why. That's it. What do you need to learn from it? We're all the 5-year-olds, proverbial 5-year-olds, walking around going, why? And that's the game. That's what we're saying about the as king. That's when you were being the as king, queen within self, right? And of course, kin, there's that beautiful word again, knowing, and kin is everything family, everything joined. And you have the G, right? So, the 7th letter in the Western alphabet that kind of replaced the H. Isn't that funny? Right. But guys, we're having a game. We only have infinity. And I would rather have fun than a lot of this nonsense. And this is one of the reasons for me to take it all down, because I was tired of... I've experienced what I need to. I've seen enough dark. I can see the contrast. I've got enough contrast now to last me infinity. I'm good. It doesn't need to get any darker. It really doesn't. So now we have the contrast. We're climbing the ladder, and I'm not looking back. What was the story? Who could play the lyre? What was his name? Greek guy. Do you know, Santo?
Apollo.
Oh, yeah. He played the lyre, and he went down to Hades to bring... I forget who he was bringing up. But he was told, because he sang so well with the lyre, or played it so well, that Hades said, yes, you can have her. All you have to do is climb up, but do not look back. You must have faith that she's there, because she will be there. I'm giving her to you. And just as he got to the top, ready to go out through the door, he looked back, and she was right there behind him, and then she fell. That is what I'm talking about. Do not look back. What happened at Sodom and Gomorrah? Who looked back and who got turned back into the salt of the earth? It's an allegory. That's what it means to have that faith in self, that you are God. You've been told too many times by too many teachers. Don't look back. Create.
If you look back to Sodom and Gomorrah are the bottom chakras, the perineum and the navel. And when you look back, you dip below the heart chakra, you will be lost. You will absolutely be lost. Incarnation will ensue. There's no escape.
So there's your choice. Don't look back or keep turning into salt. Your call. And, oh, by the way, if you don't do that, who you got to blame? Not me. Not anybody but you. And that's the terms I have in my game. Anything that goes right or wrong, it's my fault. You see, you know what's funny is people are so quick to take credit for things when everything goes great, but as soon as they fuck up and screw something up, they're like, oh, it wasn't me, run away, better blame it on somebody else, hide under the covers, that kind of thing. And that is an unwillingness to accept all things. This is what it means to be a true self-governing sovereign within. That's what it means to be the God within, that you accept all things. You accept the responsibility for the crazy awesome things you create, and you accept all responsibility for all the crazy, nutty, stupid, harmful things you create. We've all done it. But they don't hold me anymore, because they are past, they are experience. Move along. It's just a movie. Hell of a drama, though, eh? It's turning into a comedy, though. That's the part I like. So we got about 7-8 minutes left here, Santo. So,
well, we didn't leave much time for other guys to speak, really, did we?
Oh, I know. I talk too much. Hey, listen, I left enough dead air. People didn't want to jump in, so you know me. I'm going to open it up and make sure there isn't any. So, anybody else want to jump in here? Now is your opportunity.
I just turned the paper over and it said, look at the magic of cinema for this year. And they were promoting Kate Blanchett. I said, okay.
Yeah, the
Thank
sign.
you, Kate.
Yeah, the sign ma. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Or the sign mother. There's a spirit mind mother. You see, it's all. This is a movie. This is your cinema. The sign ma. It's beautiful. You can't make it up, as we already did. Do you know what's got me going, guys? Is knowing that we've accomplished so much on this level. Can you imagine the magic of the next level? You think this was cool? Wait do you see what we got going for the next round? This is friggin' awesome. Choose. I'm good. I'm heading for that. That seems like a whole lot of fun, you know. And I got to tell you, I'd be quite happy with just that beautiful shape-shifting, be whatever you want to be, go wherever you want to go, create whatever you want to create, and play a physical game that way for a while. I mean, there's only countless infinite worlds and realities to experience, and for me, this is what I think we're at that point, because we've been down to the lowest of the unknowing, and now we're at that point where we're okay. This is why we're here. This is the show of the universe right now, and you're starring in it. Wow.
There's that dead air.
See, I didn't say a word. So guys, jump in. Please. Oh, there we go.
I'll jump in.
Yeah,
there's someone else? I was going.
Yes, 281 just chimed in. 281, what do you got? Oh, we got Azure.
Yes, I just wanted to say I appreciate you so much, Kate, and so much, Santos. This is Dawn from Texas.
Hey, Dawn, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I tell you, I started waking up about 4 years ago, coming from an addiction background, I guess you would say, and it has just been one big whirlwind ride for me, and I just can't explain to you guys how great it is to hear what you have to say, because I think there's a few of us down here in Texas that's pretty dense down here. Of course we have the Bushes that live here, so there you go. But, I think there's a lot of us waking up down here in Texas, and I just thank you guys for what you do so much.
Well, Don, glad to have you, and don't worry, we're sliding laterally. There'll be more and more of those points of consciousness and waking up, and there will be a lot less bushes in this new reality.
I tell you, man, and everybody in Texas is so snowed. They love them. I mean, these guys, they think that they're just the biggest Christians and they're the greatest people, and it kills me.
No, don't worry about it. Just let them go and watch what happens. It's all good. We got this.
I know. I just, sometimes it's just like, oh, please. But I guess I'm not around enough people that talk like you guys do, and I just find myself so drawn to it every night, because it's like your nightly dose of reality,
Yeah, that's why I'm here, and that's why Sano's here, and why we're all here, because we're tired of the literal dramas out there.
Oh yeah, we're into reality for sure.
Yeah. We got two more people I want to bring in real quick, so they're on. And don't forget, we got tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's Saturday night, Katie Rant night. So Azure Blue, we got like 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. It's about 4 a.m, so I can't speak very loudly. But great show, love it, and I can't wait for the next level. It is amazing. Yeah, and what you were saying, to have conversations outside of when your mind is open to this, you just can't do the small talk anymore.
No, it's numbing.
Yeah. So anyway, time is running out, but thank you to both of you and everybody else on the show tonight. It was great.
Wonderful to have you. Wonderful.
Okay. All right.
And 661.
I'll have to wait till tomorrow.
Okay, well, make sure you call in. We'll get you on. It's going to be a wild night, promise.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Okay, well, Santo, last word here, because we got about a minute and a half, so take us home.
Yeah, well, look, I'm just elated that where we're at and how we are advancing exponentially day by day. Wonderful it is that we have this table, and let's keep supporting it. And we are certainly seeing ourselves manifesting in different ways all the time, and it's beautiful to see, and it's very, very encouraging. And we certainly are on the verge of something, just on the precipice of this amazing transformation. It's going to be great when we can look in the eyes of the ones that are still in the literal world and just transform them instantly with loving words. This day is upon us. You know, these are within our grasp. So let's continue to reach out now. Godship and expansion. The sky is the limit. There's no limit, actually. So hallelujah, hallelujah.
You're here, and again, thank you, criticalmassradio.co.uk. Paul Giovanni, what a table you have put for us so that we can set it and make it every night. So much love to everybody. We'll catch you guys same place, same time tomorrow night. And, hang out with a little bit of spiritual small talk for a change. It's such a breath of fresh air. So much love to everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow. And Santo, as always, beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See ya. And assets and that, and every single body in the land has awoken and just says, just laughs at them. And that's how quick it's going to fall, when we all wake up and we just laugh at it.
Yeah, well, that's it. We're laughing at it now, and that's the joke. And these are all the children, the lambs that are being brought into our timeline. Speaking of which, I just wanted to share, people talk about numbers that they see all the time, and, I've said before about looking for something that's not there, and you look again in the same spot and it is there. These are all the clues of a lateral time shift, that you're in a new timeline. This is our way of showing it to ourselves that, something changed, right? So when you see, numbers that you resonate with, and they can show up everywhere and anywhere, those are confirmations that you've actually time shifted sideways. That's, and you can, I'll tell you, those that are asleep aren't noticing it, so you can only move in one direction towards consciousness. That's the good thing. So there's no turning back on that. That's your Jacob's ladder you're climbing. So these are confirmation of rungs that you've achieved. So be mindful of that and put a big smile on your face every time you see one of your very pertinent, only to you, things that you see in your game, because those are all confirmations of you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. The turnaround of this manifest time is reducing every minute, every second, and behind the scenes, the things that are happening which we are not privy to, astounding, really, really astounding what is going on. This Cardinal Grand Cross is really, really going to be the last of the nasty configurations to really, really just give it the last blow it needs, wake everybody up, bring everybody into the same, critical mass benefits, and the moment they see the game that they were playing and laugh it away, that's how easy this house of cards Rome is. It's just a kingdom of ideas. It's an old kingdom of ideas. Rome had a great business plan by the edge of the sword. That was it. And there was a great business plan. They had more swords than anybody else, so they took everybody else's property and put it under their holy see, the Roman Curia. And what a great business plan. Why don't we copy that? Why don't we have swords of truth, our tongues, to expose and eliminate their stupidity? Why don't we have helmets of wisdom, protecting our heads, breastplates of righteousness, as the Bible in Ephesians talks about, to fight this war against the spiritual enemies. It's a spiritual causal war that we're fighting, and we've got to go back to our causes by remembering who we are and undo all those contracts that we had with intention before we put pen to paper and signed. So we need to correct this, Well, not we need to. We are correcting this. This has been corrected. And, you'll be surprised some of the stuff that Marco shared with us from Bangkok regarding Putin. Putin is, he really, really is backing Pope Francis and Putin. He really sees that all the things that Pope Francis is doing is absolutely devastating the system, and Putin is really, really throwing a spanner in the works with the Chinese and the Russians and the Indians and Argentina. But predominantly, he reckons Putin has had enough. He single-handedly got rid of Rothschild control of that country.
Yeah, they're getting put in their place.
Oh yeah, and you know what a puta is in Spanish, don't you?
Yeah, puta, putana.
Yeah, a putana. That's right. A whore. He's a good little whore boy because he doesn't like to play with whore.
I love it.
Yeah.
What a movie. What we're doing now is we had previously we had this intense melodrama, adventure sci-fi with the occasional comic relief. Now what we're doing is writing the comedy with a little bit of maybe a little drama relief for a change, but it's we've really turned the tables. We got to take this drama, and we already are. It's getting more and more profound every day to take this game to the next level of comedy of the universe. It's freaking awesome.
and what is the next level? I mean, let's take a look at you and I, Kate, 2.5 years ago when we met. Mm-hmm. I mean, we knew we were onto the best stuff, and we were flying high back then. But 2.5 years of maturity,
come a long way.
Seasoning. I mean, what will tomorrow bring? What will it bring for you and I, and all the listeners, and then by extension all the other good people, and then by extension all the other sleepy people, and then by extension all the dead set, intentful people who are dead set in their ways to practice only materialistic commercial evil. Who knows what all of this, all of these different strata of beings are going to undergo.
And you still, and this is one of the things, when I see people still clinging to legal shit, to me they're still clinging to something physical, something outside of them. They're still not seeing who they are. And I'm not gentle about it, because my timelines are very, very precious to me, and I use the concept of any points that are slowing this down in my consciousness. This is for me to snap those points of consciousness out of it. If a child is slaughtered, and they are during that point, that's where my passion comes from, right? I don't want that in my reality, and I assure you, I will take a crowbar to it, and I mean that, crone bar. You'll see my cause. You'll hear them, and you'll feel them. And that's not because I have any vengeance. It's because I need to obliterate that point of consciousness still creeping around with me. So, and of course, my other points of consciousness or points of view, me, will, go, well, wait a minute. No, sorry. This is my mind, this is my consciousness, my reality. I'll steer my ship, and I will take whatever. I will be Scylla and Charybdis. I will pick apart all the pieces from other points of my consciousness. We're all one. Or saving that, if that ship doesn't, that part of my mind doesn't look like it can be saved, I give it to Charybdis, and it just gets sucked down out into the void. Right? So this is why, for me, anything that I would deem to be a, quote, bad memory is just obliterated. It's thrown into Charybdis. Those that I can still see points of my consciousness that I deem of value, I'll pick away with my Scylla, my Hydra, all the stuff. And, well, the ship's either going to survive getting past that, the mind, or it's not. And quite frankly, it's me, so I'm neutral on it. and it might sound like I'm being heartless, but I'm not at all, because there are points of my consciousness that are just screaming to awake and being downtrodden. So I just cut through everything like a bulldozer, coming through.
Well, what you're saying is resonates with the words of Walter Scott when he says, the man whom the rebirth brings into being is a son of God. He belongs to the world of mind. He is composed of divine powers. He who has been born again, has become an incorporeal being. He is no longer a thing visible to bodily eyes. He sees things no longer by bodily sense. He sees with the eye of mind, and thus seeing, he finds himself to be one with all that exists. He feels himself to be omnipresent and eternal. The new self, which has thus come into being, is imperishable. He who has once become a god and son of God can never cease to be that which he has become. And that is through rebirth. The rebirth that we all must have. That Jesus said to Nicodemus, you must lift up the Son of Man in order to ascend, to be born again. As Moses did in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up. If it's not lifted up, we don't have that rebirth. And that rebirth is the most important thing for sovereignty, because as Walter Scott said, you become God. You become of mind. You lose the bodily senses. You don't go by the bodily senses anymore, the left brain. All that arguing, what kind of fallacy is it, or whatever, and all of that rubbish. Knowing is above this noise. It's like way, way above this noise that we have to, and it comes from this rebirth and being born again, or just basically awakening. That's all we need to do. We're here to awaken. Here's a gem from The Language Crystal, the book I got yesterday. This is what Lawrence William Lyons says. When you wish upon a star, not every wave that encodes your thought gets through. Some waves are bound to rebound off ionia. And thought waves, electronic waves, in parentheses, the escape will travel on forever, in parentheses, merging into other waves. So most important is the wish bouncing off the rim of the universe. And in this space age, the word is, at long last, coming home. So all those beautiful thoughts that you had that you wanted to manifest years ago of a peaceful world, blah, 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 and all those lovely things are coming home. They've done their turnaround, they go forever, and eventually what goes around comes around. And all of our good intentions have returned back to this place, Mother Earth. And so he also mentions, it's amazing, he talks about words. We put a lot of emphasis on words here, and whirling words that create worlds. Everything is whirling in spirals. The Holy Spirit spiral. Vortexes. Everything is produced by vortexes, period. There's anything out there that you can ever see.
You're listening to Santos Bonacci, live on Syncretism, here on criticalmassradio.co.uk. As above and so below is the holy science you need to know, astrotheology, because now it's our turn. You're listening to Kate Of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now it's our turn.
Good evening and welcome to Syncretism on Friday nights here on Critical Mass Radio with yours truly and, of course, captain of the ship, Santo Bonacci. Santo, how are you doing?
Wonderfully. Yourself?
Good, yeah. I guess if there's anything, if I'm going to complain or bitch about anything, is is here. I'm going to ask one question, and there's only one answer. Okay, I just want to see the way I wrote it. Let me see, because I think this one pretty much sums it up. Well, I wrote it in a nutshell. All things legal, statute, act, legislation, name, etc. are dead. Play there, and you are blank. Only one correct answer. Fill in the blank. Anyway, we know what the answer is. Oh, do you know what the headline of Belfast was today? Oh, yeah, let's have it. Crown Bar shuts down.
Yeah, man. Hey, I knew that was coming when the dickheads, the orange people, in Ireland, they've got the orange people. I went to the museum in Derry, otherwise known as Londonderry, the mofos who renamed it, the orange people. But they've got a museum there, and there's a story about Lundy the traitor, this Englishman who fed the starving Irish people, and he got caught, and they killed him, and they've been making an example of this Lundy the traitor who fed starving Irish people, and he was English. And they made an example of him. They hanged him and whatever else they did. And they've got this museum now, and there's this effigy of Lundy that they burn it or whatever, and stick things in it. And they hate this Lundy, because here they are, the maggot pedophile Windsor family and the Rothschilds family and whoever else it is that's been harassing the Irish people for thousands of years. That's the sort of thing they do. This is how sick they are, man. They are sick. And I knew that this was going to happen, that this headline was not far, when the idiots, the orange people, sent the police to come and stop my presentation. 5 hours into the presentation, mind you, I was already tired and finished. And they send their little police. And I've been meditating on that event ever since, and I realised, yeah, man, these guys, they've only got months to go, the pedophile crown. And I'm going to do it here in Australia because they're coming at me, and oh, man, I'm going to finish them. My God, I'm going to murder this society with the will of my intent, guys. You'll see the wrath of truth come down in this country, man. They're coming after me. They're coming after me? Oh, my God. That means it's the end.
That's the open door, yeah. That's to go in. And did I mention that I'm about 15 minutes from Lundy's Lane, Niagara Falls? Yeah, you can't make this up. Niagara Falls, Lundy's Lane, London. Yeah, okay.
So these maggots have shut up shop. These are the maggots who have been saying that.
Well, it's an allegory, right? The Crown Bar is a pub in Ireland. I'm going to show you why. But again, this is when I see it allegorically, and I transform it into literal, right? See, this is what I mean. As soon as you see the allegory, don't get caught up. The literal says the Crown Bar pub shuts down, right? Is shut down. Okay, great. So what does that mean to me allegorically in the game I'm playing? And it means, well, the Crown Bar is shut down. That's the Crown Bar in London. You see, I'll take the phonics of Phoenician definition versus the literal accepted as just literal. And then once I see that, then I put it back into the literal. Right, so it's you see the literal, see the for what it is, then you change it to your allegorical as it applies to you. Then you put your intent into the allegory that you pick out of it and throw it back. That's how you play ping pong with the Phoenician law.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, right. So, I was just with the Italians for a couple of hours, and they all send their greetings too, by the way. Mahat and Marco.
Alessandro and Francesco.
No, not Alessandro. Just Mahat and Marco from Thailand, who are going to bring down the cartel in Italy while we speak. But nice. But they were saying how Ireland now. So this is why I thought when you said the crown, I thought you were talking about the crown.
Well, I was. Allegorically, I was. This is what I'm talking about, because I changed what others would assume to be a literal bar in terms of a pub. I changed it to the allegorical. I know what it really is, because in my game, that's what it means to me. So that's where my intent lies. That's the power of Phoenician law and how to turn it around. This is a perfect, I'm glad we're talking about this way, because this is a perfect way to finally put into words what I've been trying to say for months. It is see the literal, See what it means to you allegorically in your game. What game are you playing? Well, my game is to take down the crown. Yes? Take it all down. Same with you. So that's what it means to me when I see that allegorically. Now, or that's actually, I transform their literal to my allegorical story. That's my story, mystery, my story. And then I put it right back out there and going, cool, the crown bar is shut down. Oh, and I'll tell you what, apparently the bar hasn't, they were operating without a license since 2011. Coincidence? I was in Ireland in 2011 when taking my dad's ashes back. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, of course, yeah. It's manifesting on both planes, absolutely. Yeah. But Marco in Bangkok, he's got so much information about what's going down, and he's talking about Ireland and Argentina basically joining Iceland. They've told the international banksters to go and get fucked because they are a private entity. Hence, they should, pay the damages, whatever, because. They've been lending fiat currency, so Argentina turns around and says, pay yourself. They've told Wall Street to go and screw themselves. So Ireland is in amongst these. It would have to be, wouldn't it? The Irish people would have to be amongst the first, wouldn't they?
I'll tell you why. Because remember I've talked about Ireland as the heart of Gaia, the four chambers of the heart? And as soon as the boot is lifted off Northern Ireland, Ulster, the game's over. So we had the Pope lift the boot off on September 1st, and of course we know what's going on in Ireland, pushing the Vatican out. And today, of all days, bam! There goes the crown boot just got lifted off. So watch for a united Ireland. And I was talking with a friend of ours today, and I will be talking to him tomorrow again. And he was talking about this gentleman's from the south of Ireland. Now, for those that don't know the quote politics unquote of Ireland, many people do. Everyone assumed it was Protestants and Catholics fighting each other, and that was the game that was being played in Northern Ireland, or Ulster, more accurately. And what was going on there was the Irish are being played against each other. All right, and England was pretty quick to say we don't deal with terrorists, right? And then of course the IRA finally got smart and went to London and started blowing their city up. And we'll talk now, right? As long as we were blowing each other up, it was fine. We don't deal with terrorists, of course you don't. But as soon as you start blowing up their hardware and their areas, then they get all out of joint. So what happened with this call today? The political factions during that time were, on one side you had the IRA and a few other splinter groups, but the IRA were the main ones on the quote Catholic side, and on the quote Protestant side unquote were the UVF and the UDA, right? Ulster Volunteer Force, Ulster Defense Association, right? IRA, Irish Republican Army. And chatting today, and all these factions are coming together, where we have the opposing poles working together. That's huge. That to me, I saw the banding of the Irish coming back together. Finally, well, wait a minute. It doesn't matter if I'm Protestant or Catholic. We're all getting screwed, and that's exactly the attitude. So now these once divided sides are coming together on all levels.
Oh, look, once Ireland's free, I'm going to go there for a holiday, spend some time with James. We're going to go to that museum, and I want to piss on the walls of that museum, because I forgot to when I went in there. It was so funny. We went for a tour in there, and and it's all about Lundy the trader and how the English, crown conquering this land of inferiors, etc., and how, setting an example of how to treat them, pretty much like Rome did in the days in 60 AD when the Asceti tribes, the English tribes banded together. They mustered up an army of about 120,000, and they absolutely plundered and destroyed Rome. London burned to the ground by Boudicca's forces. But the Romans, prior to that, a few years prior to that, what they did was, when her husband died, they grabbed her and they beat her and they raped her daughters. That's what the Romans do, simply because they had a treaty with Boudicca's husband, and he died. And so, they didn't honour the treaty anymore. So what they did is they went in and they took all of the titles of the lands of all the original peoples of England, and they just took them over, raped everybody, plundered everything, and that's the way Rome does business, So it's the same thing with when the Crown took over Ireland. You think they're going to bring benefits? Oh, yeah, well, actually they do. They bring benefits, quote-unquote benefits. But this is the thing. Once the Irish people join together, which they have, that's all they need to do. We have to join together our higher selves with our lower selves. We don't necessarily have to join together shoulder to shoulder with each individual in the country. We have to join ourselves, our lower selves, to our higher selves. Once we're all woken up, when the agents of Babylon come knocking on your door, you just have a laugh. And everybody laughs. You imagine when the sheriffs and the police come around to, seize homes and in the next few days with this Cardinal Grand Cross. Yeah. This Cardinal Grand Cross will test everyone's mettle. And your mettle will be tested. And if you got the goods, you'll come through unscathed. So enjoy the energy in it, because it is so transforming. Now is the time to contemplate and meditate all the important things of life. Right now. Because you've got the energy that will make it manifest. Make some wishes, make some, I wouldn't say affirmations, just be and intend, and, let the doers do, because they're just wasting energy. And, we can create with our lips the abracadabra universe that we want to manifest in no time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Do everything you do in honour. Do everything you do in dignity, and as the Hopi Indians say, because we are the ones that we've been waiting for. And there's no wait. It's present.
Yeah, I can't argue that. I mean, it's all pre-sent, right? Pre-say, before creation, mine with love, right? Pre-say NT, right? So that's why I was urging people, and continue to do so, to get into the present state of mind. Because if you're not in the present, you're already in the past. You see, I talked a long time ago about what this reality is, and I've proven everything as far as the ego is concerned with regards to everything physical or all things past. They're already created, right? And it takes light time to travel from anything to your eye, which is further proof that everything that you see, you're only seeing it as it was. Even if it is a split second, like a nanosecond before, like light from your nose to your eye, doesn't matter. You'll never see anything in the physical as it is, only as it was. So if you're constantly reacting to the physical, you're constantly in the trap of time. You're doing it backwards. You're trapped in time. So the only way all you have to do is realize that. Once you go, okay, I get it. So everything is effect in the physical. So if you want to get into a cause to become your own crow, your own crone, that's crow with an N, and where we can all have our own cause, caw. Yeah, it's a cosmic joke. What you need to do is just get deep, get dark, get quiet. Be in the moment of now, because now is where you will create all things present. And everything is already created. This is the joy of this game. Once you realize this, that everything you can imagine in any reality, in infinite timelines, infinite directions, infinite characters, infinite everything, fractal. Remember, it's all fractal. Already exists. It's all here in the now. We just have to choose which point of now we want to experience. So that's what I mean about moving sideways, getting all sideways with this. And look what sideways means. Ways means name or names. Side means to kill. So we got to kill the name, because if you're still attached to a name, legal or lawful, now this is going to be a tough one for people, but if you're still attached to a name as being just you, then you're still separating yourself from the rest of consciousness. It's like when people say like I came here in Ireland, so I would be deemed Irish for that. But I deem myself an Earthling, and I only see Ireland as a clue for one of my pieces, right, in my roadmap. And everyone has their absolute perfect roadmap from wherever they're from. You came in to your point where you came into for a very specific reason with your roadmap, and that's what Santos specializes in and does such a brilliant job of. Right? So once you remove all of the borders, all of the illusions of separation from everyone and everything, now you can step into a pre-sent state of mind and just intend. You see, I know there's a timeline that exists with me at home, with everything around me that I cherish and love, as it was, and that's what my intent is on. That's my heart's desire. That's what I am targeting with my intent. And my contract's very simple. I accept all things. And I do mean that. I accept all things, regardless of what an ego might assume or presume anything to be emotionally, whatever the case may be. I accept all things in order for that to manifest. So that is my contract, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, I have planned for myself in this game to get me to that lateral timeline slide, I'm all in, baby. I mean, hell, this game can't really do much more in terms of trying to destroy me physically, you know? So, yeah, I'm good. You see, that's the problem when you have people, when they get to a point. This is why evil destroys itself. Because when you get a point of consciousness to the point where there is absolutely nothing to lose, now you're dangerous. Now you can put some serious intent into stuff because you are the samurai warrior that has decided that you're already dead before you go into battle, so that all you have is clear, perfect delivery, execution of intent at all points because you've already deemed yourself dead. So you play the game at the highest level possible. And that's where people need to be.